Hello and welcome to another episode of the Uncommon Energy Podcast, our first episode of 2024. On this week's episode, we're going to be breaking down 2023, what happened throughout the year for the Pokemon TCG, some of our favorite moments, our favorite decks, all those type of things. Just a fun little look back on the past year and maybe what's coming up in 2024. We're going to look at the Pokemon fans' top 100 favorite Pokemon. This is a poll that came out recently in Japan. Might be some surprising picks on there. We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll, of course, have Guess That Flavor Text, everyone's favorite segment of the podcast. And then we're going to wrap up this week's episode by talking about the Portland Regional Championships this coming weekend, the first tournament of the new year. We're not even halfway through the tournament season yet. We'll talk about the meta, what we think is going to do well, what we think could succeed, all that and more. And then, of course, over on our Patreon, we will have our weekly bonus episode for our Patreon supporters, exclusive over there. If you want to get an additional 30 minutes of content from me and Azul every single week, the place to do it is over on Patreon, patreon.com/uncommon energy podcast. My name is Chip Ritchie, joined here as always by my friend and co-host Azul GG. Hello, Azul. Happy New Year. How's your week been, buddy?
It's pretty good. I didn't really do anything for the new year. Nothing crazy. But it's been a good week it's been a good last month or post San Antonio regionals, I guess, of content. Been pretty consistent with the streams, uploading to YouTube. All that's been going super well. Over on Twitch and YouTube, so that's been exciting. And just gonna try and continue to be consistent with that going to the new year. I think it's my one goal, I guess. I guess we could talk about what is our New Year resolutions. Mine is just be more consistent with content. Personally, that's my goal. Try or be as consistent as possible. I'm not gonna put it on myself to. The goal ideally is upload a YouTube video every day and then try and stream every day. Then I'm not traveling or competing in a tournament. But I took a day off on Saturday because it's some other stuff I had to do around the house, stuff like that, and feeling a little burnt out. So I just took the day off, whatever stuff like that. But gonna try and be as consistent as possible I can this year. But yeah, just a lot of content for me this week. And yeah, it is the new year. So happy New Year to you as well, Chip. You got any big goals this year? Anything changing for you?
Not really. I've never been super huge on New Year's resolutions, to be honest. I've kind of, if there's ever something that I've kind of felt like I needed to do in my life, just kind of, I don't, I don't know. I've always thought New Year's resolutions are kind of silly because it's like, why wait for, like,
Yeah.
why is New Year the time to, set those new goals and make new changes in your life or whatever? Why can't you just like do it whenever whenever at any point throughout the year? And I guess you could, but and I guess New Year's for a lot of people is just kind of like a good starting point to set stuff. So I mean, I'm not hating on resolutions or anything like that. I think people should be doing things to try to improve their lives. But I've just never really like gone out of my way to set a resolution. I actually did 1 year just cold turkey. So I uh for a long time was pretty bad about drinking a lot of soda, and I still drink a good bit of soda, probably more than I should, but I went like 10 months in a year, something like that, without drinking soda. The one time I like had a New Year's resolution was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop drinking soda. And I just did it instantly. And then one day in like what 10 months, like October or something like that, I was just like, you know what? I kind of want a soda today. I was like, I'm not gonna like go the rest of my life without drinking a soda. So I might as well just go ahead and go drink another soda.
Actually reminds me now that you mentioned that. I actually was when I was this was when I was younger, I don't know, I was 14, 15. I went vegan for a year.
Oh,
Which is
okay.
I think everyone in my no, not vegan, vegetarian. Yeah, vegan
Vegetarian,
would be
okay.
tough. My brother is
If you had went vegan, we definitely would have heard you tell us about being vegan at some point.
I think my brother, he maybe is vegetarian now, but he's been vegan for a long time, or at least vegetarian for a really, really long time. I think he was vegan for a long time. I think he's vegetarian now. But almost all my siblings, we've all been vegetarian at one point. It was just literally, uh, it was at a point where I think my older sister was vegetarian for a little while. It was literally Thanksgiving, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna become vegetarian for a year, and then next Thanksgiving I ate meat again. It was just literally Thanksgiving to Thanksgiving. I don't know what conversation we were having at the dinner table that motivated me to want to do it
But
and
that
try it, but
Thanksgiving turkey was out on the table, and Zool was like, can't pass that one up."
yeah, and then it came back around. Yeah, I don't remember, but that reminded me of that. I was just all of a sudden I was like, yep, we'll just try being vegetarian for a year, and then did it for a year, and then that was it.
Yeah.
1 year.
I went 1 year in college without cutting my hair, a full year without a haircut,
I've
and my
seen you with,
hair
like, the longer hair. Is that the one time you've had really long hair?
yeah, I think I've showed
Okay.
you a picture of it before, but yeah,
I
I
saw
had
it in some of your YouTube videos, one of your YouTube videos you showed me where you made it at your college dorm or whatever it looked like.
yeah,
You had
yeah,
the
yeah,
long
yeah, yeah,
hair.
before I did Pokemon stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I had hair down, like, past my shoulders for it grew out for a full year, and then the first week of January the next year, I just buzz cut, shaved it all off, just all gone, flip of a coin. Uh, and then I always talked about growing my hair back out, but then it was always kind of a joke because, like, so my wife, Brooke, she and I have been together for a long time. We like dated long distance through college. So she didn't ever really see me because it was in college when I grew my hair out. So she never really saw me. But anytime we would like, FaceTime or anything like that, it would always be like, oh yeah, maybe get a haircut. And we'd see each other in person. She like wasn't a huge fan of it, but she obviously like didn't really care that much. And
Mm,
then it was always a joke like, yeah, once we get married, I don't really care. You can do whatever you want with your hair. I just want, whenever we have our wedding pictures and stuff, I just want your hair to like look nice. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Makes sense. I'll do whatever I want once after we get married. But now anytime my hair is like starting to get a little long, she's kind of like, you really probably should go to the barbershop soon. You really probably should get a haircut.
she
So
afraid of long hair,
no,
Chip,
no
bro?
more long hair for me. Yeah, I don't know, she just doesn't love it, I guess. It's fine.
Did you like the style? I mean, yeah, you're probably,
I
like, not overly attached to it, but, like
Yeah, I really don't care that much. I've never really cared about my hair too much, to be honest. I go to Great Clips to get my hair cut, dude. Like, I do not really care that much, because worst case scenario, you know what? It'll if I get a bad haircut, it'll look fine in, like, 2 weeks, you know?
Yeah, it really
It's
doesn't take that long
temporary.
yeah, for sure.
But,
But the
but
long I
yeah,
will
other
say
than that, this past week oh, go ahead, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, yeah, like, for me, like, as my hair gets longer, it just gets more annoying. The longer it gets, the more annoying it gets. Like, if you just cut it
It
short like, I usually just
definitely
cut my shorts really like, my sides really short, like, with a you gotta get it done with, like, a 2 or whatever.
I
It's just,
have
like, nice
really thick hair, and so whenever it was long, it was not definitely not fun
manage.
to manage, especially because like, during the summer that
Oh, yeah.
year when it was getting long, was definitely not fun. But then other than that, this past week, I've watched a lot of football this past week. It's like college bowl season. I don't love college football as much as I enjoy watching like professional football, but then we're getting into like for professional football, people fighting to make the playoffs and stuff like that. And it's getting like every game is kind of mattering for a lot of these teams. It's been really exciting. I don't know, I know you watch some football sometimes. Did you see anything that happened with the Detroit Lions game this
Yeah, I
past
saw the end
weekend?
of that, dude. That was crazy.
Super
I watched
crazy.
that live, bro.
Super
It was
crazy.
wild.
They said that referee crew, they've, like, demoted them, like, they're not gonna do a playoff game anymore, that ref crew.
Mm, that's rough, but I feel like there has to be some determining factors behind, like, who gets to do those games. It's like you can't mess there's only so many football games, not that many. If you mess up in one of them, that's still a pretty big deal.
Yeah, no, for
And it
sure.
was so it was confirmed that it was like, I missed that part. It was confirmed that it was communicated to him that he would be eligible to receive, right? In
So,
the
pretty
end zone
much
play?
I don't wanna get too much into this because 'cause I'm sure a lot of people who are listening don't.
'Cause I didn't look up I didn't look up the end result of that, but I saw, like, a clip.
Basically, what it looks like is it's like the referee made a mistake.
Okay.
One player was coming in to report as eligible. One player was in the huddle and came over to report as eligible. Another player was running onto the field. The referee assumed the player running onto the field was reporting as eligible because he had done that a couple
Mm.
other times during the game. So the referee just made a quick assumption. He goes over and tells the defense X player is reporting as eligible. And so that's another part of the thing as well because everyone's looking at the play and
Oh.
saying, well, the Lions should have won this game. They should overturn it, but the Cowboys defense didn't
Would've played
know that that
differently.
guy was
Yeah.
eligible, so they're not even thinking about defending him, like, peeling off to catch a pass.
Yeah.
So the
Okay.
whole play would be different if the Dallas knows, like, "Oh, 68 is eligible to catch a pass." Dallas is, like, gonna do things differently, so
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, one of the, offensive linemen was, like, trying to become eligible to receive a pass on, like,
yeah.
a final touchdown play. I didn't
It's
even
a
know that was a thing.
super
I didn't
weird
even
rules
know
thing.
yeah, I don't know that much about football. There was also the first time I saw the penalty of the illegal touching penalty or whatever that was. That's the first time I've ever seen that penalty before.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing where you had to, like, make yourself eligible to receive if you were defensive or an offensive lineman. I didn't even know that
Yeah.
was a thing. I thought they could just get the ball if it, like, lined up correctly, for them to, like, be in a position where, like, the quarterback could throw them the ball, but, so I learned a lot about football that day, but it was definitely a crazy,
Yeah. But I
yeah,
love
flags on the plays multiple times,
it's
like
so crazy. and it's stuff like that. It's just like I just love football, man. It's like the something new happening every single year during playoff times and stuff like that. Definitely feels bad for the Detroit Lions fans out there.
Yeah.
They're still going to win the division, still get a playoff, game. Might still hopefully be able to host a home game. We'll see, but yeah, definitely a crazy sequence of events. But enough about football, man. Let's talk about the Pokemon TCG, what we're all here to really hear about and talk about. I guess before we get into too much else, we do have a couple of announcements. First off, next week's episode is going to release next Friday, January 12th. Azul and I both have stuff going on earlier in the week, so we're not going to be able to do kind of our normal Wednesday episode. This will be the latest we've ever released an episode in the week, but that's when
Yeah.
we'll talk about the results from Portland and stuff like that. So look out for that next Friday.
Yeah, a little bit late on that one, but we'll be back to the normal schedule on the following week. So it'll be like a little bit of a close back-to-back episodes there, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah.
just a little bit of delay on that one, but we'll be back to normal schedule the week after.
And then we should honestly do this a little bit more where we kind of update something we talked about last week's episode when we get like a little more information about it. Just a quick little update at the beginning of the episode. But last week
Yeah.
we talked a bit about a website TCG1 that's like an online simulator that people have used for old formats and stuff like that to play. We did confirm we actually did this in the bonus episode. We played it in the bonus episode, not played it, but like tried it out a quick game. It is automated. So that was something we didn't know for sure when we were recording last week. And then also something we were joking about last week was how there were so many people on the website playing the team up through Chilling Rain format. And we were like, why the heck are people playing this random format from 2021? But some people let us know in the comments actually that the reason for that is because that is China's current standard format. China just kind of recently got Pokemon TCG and like as far as like organized play goes,
Yeah.
and they're behind catching up and stuff like that, and that is their current standard format. And so the people we saw playing on TCG1 were probably Chinese players who are practicing their current standard format because that's the only way you can really practice it online.
Yeah, they don't literally have anywhere else, anywhere else to go. But it was funny looking at it. We're just like, why would anyone want to like? Why is there so many people playing this
Yeah.
this format? Like,
People really miss Eternatus, man.
yeah, I guess. I mean, I didn't hate tag teams personally, but a lot of people you were always hating on. But yeah, it's their current standard, and that's the only way to really practice it. You can't do it on. Well, I guess I don't know what cards they would even have access to on PTCG Live, or if even if they have access to PTCG Live as well. But would you have access to all the cards if you're on PTCG Live right now?
I think so. And I guess there's nothing different. It's the same current turn one rules and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I don't know if they have access to PTCG Live. I
Well,
guess that
I
would be
know
the
that there was
thing.
like weird stuff. People were trying to practice and play TCG Live in Japan and they weren't able to access. I think you like had to have a VPN pretty much if you wanted to play TCG Live while we were in Japan for Worlds and stuff like that.
Yeah. You did, yeah.
So
Because
it
I
could be
think,
something similar.
hmm yeah, it'd be interesting to
But then
know.
you also can't like on TCG1 you can queue up into some like you can just see who's waiting to queue and you can just queue into someone's game, right? On TCG Live you would have to like go out of your way to find someone to play with, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's true, I guess. Yeah, so I guess it is the way to just like play. I'm sure, I guess if the cards are all on PTCG Live, they probably do play on that, but it's only if you have someone to play against, where it's like there's
Yeah.
become kind of like it's kind of known that there's like a, you know, random or like a random you can go randomly queue up against other people on TCG1 in that format. So that's where they go when they just don't have anyone else to play against. Makes sense.
Well, our first topic this week is talking about some stuff that happened in 2023, a little bit of a look back, a bit of a year in review, some of our favorite Pokemon TCG moments throughout the year. Thought this would be kind of fun to just chat back, reminisce, think about the past year. I guess first off, I mean, we had a great year for the podcast. Numbers wise, things grew pretty well. A lot more listens than the previous year. I had this when we did this last year and I had like the numbers and stuff prepared, but uh I don't think we don't really focus too much on the numbers, but as long as we just kind of look and see like things are continuing to grow, that's kind of the most important thing to us. It's not like how many views each week we get or listens we get each week. It's just like
Yeah.
that it's a steady growth throughout the year. There might be some ups and downs in there, but like if you just put a line on it, it's still steady growth. And that's what we were able to do this past year. So we're definitely, a goal achieved there, I would say, right?
Yeah, I think it's like all we're really concerned with. I mean, that's like how I view like my own content personally as well. As long as it feels like I'm growing, there'll be, more aggressive growth and sometimes slower growth. But as long as you're growing in general, that's like really the only thing that you really need to be happening. As long as that's happening, you're probably in a good spot. Yeah, you're probably in a good spot. That's how we're feeling right now. The podcast, yeah, still growing. Things in a positive direction. Definitely like more stuff we want to try and do this year. For sure. Yeah.
Pokemon wise as well, it was a pretty good year for you, Azul. You won a lot of Pokemon tournaments, huh?
A couple. Well, this year I won. Well, I guess I did win San Antonio. I guess I kind of think of it's usually season wise, but I guess I won what, two tournaments this season? San Antonio, OCIC,
Yeah,
couple top cuts. I guess the top four at Worlds was a pretty big
Worlds,
deal.
yeah.
Yeah, that was like the big one. Um, yeah, I mean it was a good season overall, or a good year, I guess. Usually break it down to seasons, but it was a good year overall. And I've started off this season pretty well overall. Actually, yeah, like this season so
2
far has been
drops, 3 top
three
8s.
three drops, three top eights. It's been
3
three and
drops, 3
three.
top
Yeah,
8s, yeah.
but like that's pretty good. Like it would be nice to not drop half of the tournaments, but I don't know if I can really complain if I have a 50% top eight rate so far. Like that's
Yeah.
like maybe one of the other ones. Like if I had to trade, I don't think I would trade one of my drops for a day two to demote one of like the top eights to like a top 32. You know, like it's not worth the trade off. Like I'd
And
rather just have the
also,
top eights.
I almost feel like you would rather drop in day 1 than play day 2 and finish in, like, the top 256.
It's honestly like the best of like, yeah, because I'm not, like, getting to day 2 and then dropping top to 56,
Yeah. I mean,
and
even if, like,
I'm
top
top eighting.
64, right? Top 64, all you get is 18 packs, which, I mean, I guess is
Yeah.
nice, but it's like, that doesn't matter that much to you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I mean, that's kinda good. Then I get on day 2, I just get to chill. I just haven't gone home early on any of them, but, yeah, just get chill, hang out, um, which I don't mind. Yeah, as long as, like, I have I'd still say, like, I'm being consistent so far.
For
Beginning of the
sure.
season, the end of this year, beginning of the next season, like, even yeah, I've dropped 3 times, but once again, 3 top 8s. I can't really complain out of the results so far from the first 6 tournaments for sure. I think it's 6, yeah, we're at 6 now. Sheesh.
Well, we listed a few things here that we wanted to go back and talk about our favorite TCG moments through the year. The first one we have listed, favorite deck that we played to a tournament. So I played way fewer tournaments than you, Azul. So
Yeah.
do you have a favorite deck through the dozens of tournaments you played in last year?
Favorite deck? Man, I'm trying to think. Hang on, I might actually go to my Limitless page real fast just so I can, like, try to refresh my memory a little bit. I mean, it was just a lot of Lost Zone.
It was definitely the year of
Yeah.
Lost Zone, right?
Oh, it was probably if it was no, it was in 2022. We didn't play Reggie's in 2023. Or
No,
maybe we
no.
did at that final one where Grant got top 8, but I forget what that one was. Um, yeah, I mean, a lot of Kyogre Lost Box. I think I'd give it to Evital Control at Florida. I did kind of throw against John on stream that one, but it was enjoyable to like. Yeah, this is like a lot of loss on. What the heck? Like, even going into the 2024 season, more Lost Box. I guess I can try to think of some decks that I didn't make day 2 with that I would maybe pick from, but there wasn't. Most of those were still Lost Box, I think. No, I think I made day 2 with all the every time I played Lost Box, I think I made day 2. But yeah, I'll give it to Control then, I guess. Last year for it would definitely be Control then, because yeah, the Lost Box was tiring at a certain point. I mean, I kept doing it because we still felt like it was the best play for the tournament, but
Yeah.
yeah, the switch up with the Control in Florida, it was really nice to play a Control deck again in a tournament because I hadn't done that in a while.
Yeah, I think that's one of the marks of like a good player is being able to utilize multiple different strategies, playing aggressive decks, playing kind of like late game comeback decks, playing control decks and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely
Yeah.
cool that you've played just a wide variety of different things. I've
Yeah, I think it's
played
like
far less decks. I played in 3 majors this past year. I
yeah.
played Lost Zone Kyogre in Milwaukee, I played Charizard in Toronto, and I played Chien-Pao at LAIC, and then
Pretty
I've
different
played
with
in a
decks.
couple of League Cups, not that many, and I'm trying to remember some of my League Cup decks because I feel like I mean, those decks that I listed for the majors, like, are all fine, but none of them stand out as being like, "That's, like, my favorite deck that I played," you know?
What about that
Um
Arceus Firebox deck? Wasn't that one of your League Cup decks? That sounds familiar.
Yeah, that was from the year before, though. That was
Mm,
at,
okay, okay.
that deck was actually really cool. I did like that deck. I played the Ninetales V so that I could one-shot a Mewtwo V Union. That was pretty sick out of
You need
nowhere.
that, you need that.
Um, but yeah, I think honestly, you're gonna laugh at this answer. I think it was one cup that I played back after EUIC, right around EUIC. I think it was slightly after EUIC, and I played Good old classic double turbo Mew VMAX, baby. Just good, consistent, solid, drawing a lot of cards. There was
Yeah.
no Spiritomb to be scared of. 4 Lost Vacuum, thinning the hand out.
Was that actually
Um,
broken then the whole time? Why was that deck not better? I mean, Pablo got top what 4 at
top 4, yeah.
UIC, right? And then he was kind of he kind of revived it with that run. I feel like for sure because a lot of people
Yeah.
had given up on it. Um,
Yeah, I lost in top 4 of that League Cup to, a Miraidon deck that it was actually a
mm,
really close game. That was, like, before people really knew how to build Miraidon, but, it was a guy in our area who was one of the early adopters of the high energy Miraidon. There was no Flaffy, it was, like, 18 lightning energy, no Flaffy, and then, like, and he did have a Drapion in his deck, so it was like I had a chance to win in our 3rd game of Top Cut, and I, like, Iono'd or not Iono'd, Iono wasn't even out. I, like, judged him after he knocked me out plus Path, and he didn't really need that much. It was, like, because he had Drapion me the previous turn, he either needed to, like, Super Odd Nest Ball the Drapion or, like, get 2 more energy in play because he had energies in play to Raichu me, and then he just
yeah,
Raichu'd me, so
classic.
but yeah, that would probably be just good old classic Mew Veem. I like decks like that, they're just, like, fast, consistent, draws a lot of cards.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely a fan. Definitely a fan. All right. Well, my favorite deck for a tournament. I don't remember thing I was gonna say on that, but I completely like blanked on
Yeah, you looked like you were spacing
what I
out
was
there,
gonna say.
buddy.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I had something. I had something I was gonna say, and then I was like, started escaping me. Now I can't remember what the heck it was. Oh well, we'll have to like give up on this one this
You'll
time.
think about it at some point. The
But
next
yeah,
question,
oh, that's where I was going. But yeah, you go ahead now.
the next point we had was favorite tournament location throughout the year. So while I didn't play in as many tournaments, I still went to just about as many tournaments,
Yep.
casting and working them all. So, yeah, did you have a favorite tournament location this past year, Azul?
Um, I almost want to say uh Japan, but like I didn't like I would enjoy it a lot more if it wasn't in the summer. Not a big fan of the
Yeah,
heat. Kind of a killer for me in general. I wouldn't mind the heat if I just didn't sweat so much, but like I get really sweaty
it
really
was pretty
quickly.
miserable.
So yeah, not the greatest experience in Japan to be honest overall. But now I'm trying to like look actually look at a list of tournaments to like kind of remind me everywhere I went. Um but if I had to pick one, I think I would give it to honestly, I guess I would probably give it to Melbourne then, because I like Australia. Yeah, I think I would go with Melbourne then as the I guess this is the last time I'll probably be in Australia for a long time as well. But yeah, I do like Australia. Australia is always a good time. So I'm gonna go with Melbourne on this one. I think my favorite tournament location from 2023. I also did win there, so
Yeah, that always makes it a little bit more a more memorable of a location. Yeah, honestly, I think for me, Melbourne would also be my choice, and similar things for you. Like, I think Japan, I would have enjoyed more if I had done more stuff. It was really a
yeah.
work trip. I didn't get to go out and do that much sightseeing. Just like a half day twice, pretty much, is all I
Mhm.
really got. So I would have liked to have stayed a couple more days, but ended up coming on back home. So tournament days and stuff like that, it was like, from 7 in the morning until 8 or 9 at night, pretty much. And then it's like everything's closed when you get done. So
Yeah, yeah.
really a work trip more than anything. So yeah, Melbourne though, I did go a day early, and uh or 2 days early, really. So I got to do a little bit more sightseeing, walked around the city a little bit with Ross and Kyle. That trip was really fun. Australia was awesome. So that was a good time.
Yeah, give Australia the dub on this one. It'll probably yeah, it might even be like the last time I ever go to Australia. I kind of want to like I wanted to like go actually go to what's it called New Zealand, but
Dude, I want to go to New Zealand so bad.
but
See
maybe they'll
like
bring
where Lord of the
back
Rings was filmed and
we need to
stuff.
bring back OCIC and put it in New Zealand.
Put it
That's
in New
the yeah,
Zealand.
put it in New Zealand.
Yes.
Let's
Come
make
on.
that happen.
Daddy Peak. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Next one we had here on our list was favorite match casted or played. So casted for you, played for me. What was your favorite
Well, it could be
match
played for
you
me.
what was your favorite match you casted this year, Chip?
Yeah, this one for me, I think it's hard to give it to anything besides Masters Worlds Finals. Just for the fact of, the prestige of the tournament, the fact that it was in Japan, crowded room full of people, tons of people watching online, and the fact that it was such a down to the wire game as well. It was a close game.
Yeah.
Really exciting moments in that one. So I think I don't know. It might be hard in casting in general to peak anything over casting Worlds Finals in Japan.
I guess it could have been like a really lame final, like
Yeah, it definitely could have been. There have been some bad
yeah.
Worlds Finals over the years, like the Mega Audino year.
Yeah, that was
The Greninja
pretty
basically just got double donked.
yeah, yeah, if something like that, then it probably isn't gonna be as memorable or exciting, but yeah, it was pretty cool back and forth, and it was in the situation where, like, Tord was basically out of time, but still had, like, a win condition, not like the route you wanna have to be
And he
pressured to
pieced it
take.
together. Yeah, you could see him like piecing it together as he was going
Yeah,
through the turn.
and
It was
had,
quite
like,
sick.
the really like, the Shiny Arcana for 2 Psychics or whatever as well, wasn't that one of the things he needed to hit, and, like, hit that, and then it was, like or at least 1 Psychic, but it's, like, unlikely, all the little things are falling in place, but it wasn't quite enough.
Well, it was like he
Advance was
missed
just
on the one thing, but then it, like, opened up, then it's like, okay, he had to pivot his win condition, in
yeah.
the middle of the turn, which I think that stuff's always really cool.
Vance was just sitting over like there, "I can't wait for him to pass so I can
Yeah,
win."
as boss orders in
Yeah.
hand to just win the game.
Just waiting to win the game. Um, favorite match for me actually was one that happened in this season towards the end of the year. That the one that sticks out to me the most, like, most recently was I played a like, it was just, like, a very enjoyable game of Pokemon to play. I played against, oh my gosh, I forget who I played against. I'm trying to remember. I remember who they are, but, like, I know who they are, but I can't their name is, like, escaping me right now.
On the spot,
Um,
put yourself on the spot and forgot their name.
yeah, I know, just, like, by hand. I remember one of their tournament placements, so I'm just gonna go back and literally look it up, and then that'll literally tell me,
What tournament was this from?
oh, Preston Ellis, there we go. Preston,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I played against Preston in a 59-60 card Lost Box mirror at Sacramento. We were both playing Raymond Long's Zamazenta Kyogre, Lost Box, and, we had changed one card. I forget what card we changed, but I don't know. It's just like a really weird game where both of us had a slow start, and because we both basically knew the exact 60 cards we were each playing, it was just like a really high skill intensive game of Pokemon. It was just a really enjoyable. It was like yeah, it was like literally like stands to me as like one of my favorite matches of Pokemon I've ever played. We did tie in classic Lost Box fashion, where we each won a game, and there wasn't enough time in game three.
Who was
But
gonna win game 3?
I think I was ahead by a little bit. But game one and game two were just like really interesting. For sure. So yeah, that's like the game that stands out to me the most from last year. I'm sure there were some other ones, but that was like most recent. So that one like comes to me recently.
Your
But I was
top 8
like,
match, Kyogre Mirror against Grant?
um, yeah, I guess kind of. But I like didn't play that well on that one, so it was like I could have played a lot
Oh,
better.
okay,
So
okay.
I did the cool play against him, but like I could have done it sooner and done it more efficiently. So the Lost Box mirror strats, but yeah, I would say
It's
that one
interesting
against.
that those, like, 60 card mirrors, I feel like that's the truth a lot of time is that those 60 card mirrors become really skillful because everyone knows exactly what you could possibly do the next turn,
Well, it
and
was the one against Preston was specifically interesting because one of us drew pretty poorly, but still had just enough stuff to make the plays awkward. Like, I
sure.
think we both like I think I went Zamazenta pass or something, and then he basically did the same thing in game 2, and it was like, "Well, I don't have a good attacker into Zamazenta." And then, like, we both built out of board states with, like, 1 Comfey, so there was never that much to, like, Sableye for or Greninja for ever, even though there wasn't a Manaphy in play. And it was really interesting. And also like Pidgeot got involved as well because like, you can't KO Pidgeot unless the opponent takes a knockout and has Zamazenta. Like,
Yep, yep.
yeah. So it was like things like that. But like my games against Grants in the 60 card mirror was like we both drew decently. So it's like we're both doing the same thing that we're supposed to be wanting to do every turn of the game. Except for I guess the game two against I had against Grant. But like game one, it was like he drew worse than me in game one, but he was like always behind a step. So it was like what are you gonna do? But the game against Preston really had well, me thinking maybe he wasn't thinking that hard, like he just knew everything to do it. Maybe he just knew everything to do in the situation. But I was like trying to break everything down and trying to come up with what I had to do. And then when he had the slower game in game two, it's like, all right, what can he even do here? But then now what do I have to do now that he has like nothing on his board for me to go after? So yeah, we both drew a little bit slow, which it just like basically and that's where like the really good players in the Pokemon TCG shine. It's like when something comes up that you've never seen before, right? Or something unexpected happens. How do you tackle that? How well can you tackle it? Yeah, instead of like the same thing you see every single game in the matchup, and you know how to play the matchup, and then you're just kind of playing like on on repeat, just instinct at that, or not instinct, but you're instead of playing on instinct, you're playing on what am I thinking of? You're sort of repeating what you've normally repeated in a matchup, right? If you were to explain someone how to play a matchup, you're doing that,
Yeah.
and not doing anything new or fresh or having to come up with something interesting in the moment.
Our next one is less about something we have done and more about just something in the community in general. And that is our favorite new player on the rise. So, someone who is an up and comer, maybe in the past year, or someone who has up and become in the past year, like someone who, maybe before a big tournament win or a big tournament finish wasn't super well known, but now is become like a mainstay in the game. Do you have anyone? I think there's kind of two people that stick out here. So I'm interested if you pick one, I'll just pick the other one. Who do you think is your favorite new player on the rise this past year?
Well, I probably have to give it to Grant Shen. Is the one that comes to mind. Though he hasn't got a dub yet, but
Not one of the two people I was thinking of, by the way, but that is a
oh,
good choice.
yeah, very good at the game.
Yes.
Very humble, very good understanding of the game as well. Like every time I talk to him, very humble person in general. So, yeah, I'll say Grant Shen. I think like he's gonna get his dub eventually. I know that's something he wants to get eventually, but um,
He's had a crazy start to the year too.
yeah, might have to get he definitely needs to like become more comfortable with more decks though, because the Chi and Pao is not as good as it once was. But yeah, definitely someone to look at moving forward, and as yeah, kind of already like established himself as like one of the top North American players so quickly. It's like his what second season, I guess, as a master now,
Yeah.
season
Yeah,
and a
for
half.
sure. He's been doing really well this year and, throughout the past year as well. Uh, Not one of the two people I thought you were going to say. The two people that came to my mind, the first one is definitely Andrew Hedrick.
Yeah, I had him in mind as well.
Yeah. A couple regional wins in this past year.
Hmm.
He had a top 8 at the very start of the 2023 season. Um Had a couple of okay finishes as well, a top 32 in Indianapolis in 2022, but he really broke out big time in the 2023 season. In October 2022, had the top 8 in Peoria, and then the obvious 2 back-to-back wins back in
Yep.
February with good old Lugia, and, has continued to do well, played Lugia, played a lot of Lost Box through the end of the year, and still had some really solid finishes, top 8s, and he won a special event as well. And the other one, I guess Hedrick could be the one I chose, and then the honorable mention would be to Reagan, I think.
Oh yeah, that's a good one as well. Yeah, Reagan for sure.
Reagan
Um,
feels like less of a choice for something like this because I think he's someone who we have known for a lot longer because he was dominating in seniors and in juniors and stuff over the past few years.
yeah,
And then this past year being his first year in Masters, had an okay start, got a top 32 finish at LAIC, but then few top 8s at regionals, second place to you at OCIC, and then one ended up getting his win in Fresno to close out the year after having this run of tournaments is nuts, right? Second
yeah,
place, third place, first place.
yeah. It's not bad. Yeah, Reagan's a good shout for sure. But it did feel like he was already kind of on the map
Yeah.
before he even left seniors. Like he worked with Isaiah Bradner and crew, um, and they were a very notable group. And
Yeah.
then yeah, and then was like kind of like the top senior basically leaving uh to Masters that year as well, or this last season. So yeah, it felt like he was like already like geared up and set up to not only do well but be already like known. He's not like a breakout player, right? It's kind of like
That's
he's
definitely
expect
fair.
it's like
Yeah.
not someone we didn't expect to be doing well. It was just like he's definitely gonna be doing well. It's just like how well will he do in his
Yeah.
first year?
Definitely a good point for sure. Next one is favorite deck that you didn't play to a tournament. So something that you maybe, appreciated the uniqueness of it, but you wouldn't have ever chosen to play it really for an event or something that someone came up with before you had an opportunity to. You have a favorite deck that you didn't play to a tournament throughout this past year?
A deck that I didn't play to a tournament that I don't know, I guess is like cool, unique. I guess I would probably give it to Rapid Strike. I've always really liked Rapid Strike. I think it's a really cool deck. You can make a lot of cool plays. um, and set up for some like big late game plans as well. So I think I would say Rapid Strike is like the coolest deck, or what was it? The favorite deck that I didn't play this year.
Favorite
Yeah,
deck that you didn't play, yeah.
yeah, I think that'd be it. Because like none of the other decks, I like playing like all the Pokemon decks, but like I don't regret not playing Roaring Moon at like a tournament last
Right,
year or
right.
something. Like even if Roaring Moon was better, I wouldn't regret not playing Roaring Moon at a tournament last year. I definitely don't regret not playing Lost Tina at a tournament last year, like anything like that. So I think I'd give it to Rapid Strike, because Rapid Strike's pretty cool. It's a pretty sick deck. And I played some of the other ones as well, like, I guess I would've definitely said, like, a Lost Box deck, but I played so much Lost Box, so
Yeah, I think one for me would be the Vikavolt deck that was pretty good at the start of last year.
oh, that's a good one. That deck was
Yeah.
cool.
Obviously, I had less tournaments that I would have played anyway, so I mean, I could pick, like, Lugia for this if I wanted to, but I
Not that
definitely don't wish I played Lugia for a tournament.
yeah. I
Yeah,
regret it. The
I
one
always
time
thought
I
that
played it, I
Vikavolt deck
regret
was
it.
really cool. Yeah, watching what was it? It was Polaris won it OCIC with it in
Mhm.
seniors. That was a fun match. I casted that one as well, so, that was an exciting game. But yeah, I always liked that deck.
That deck was cool. I like decks like that where some of your matchup like, it feels like, you have like the deck has like a wide range of way it wins matchups. Like where it's like the Lost Box matchup, you just have to item lock a lot and then hope you can get ahead. But then like your Lugia matchup is like super calculated with trying to do the freaking Archeops. Was that not Aerodactyl play? Like you have like a 2-turn combo that you're trying to execute for some matchups. I don't know. It's just kind of cool when those decks. And you can like use the Aerodactyl against Mew as well. Once again, like a
Yeah.
two turn combo. Go first, turn to Aerodactyl, show off the Genesect. Stuff like that, where you have like these very, like, specific lines of plays for certain matchups that are, like, hard set in the first couple turns, but then a lot of your other matchups are just, like, attack a lot with Vikavolt and then go from there. But it's cool when those, like, you have those more hardline strategies for some matchups. I always like decks like that, or I find that kind of strategy interesting when it is in a deck.
Next one is favorite new card released in 2023. So the sets that released in 2023 would be what? Scarlet it's all the Scarlet Violet cards pretty much.
Yeah, that's literally yeah, we didn't get anything else, did
I
we?
think when did Crown Zenith come out?
It did, yeah, Crown Zenith did come out. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, Crown Zenith plus Scarlet Violet cards. What is your favorite new card to come out? It could even be something that hasn't been played yet, but you think like maybe has potential in the future, something like that, or something that you just think has overall benefited the game because of its existence.
sheesh, I don't even know. Do you have one for this? Have you already if you have already put a little bit of thought into this, you go ahead, because I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I'll try and come up with something here.
Yeah, I think mine is Iono, to be honest.
That's a good one, that's a good one. Well,
A
then I almost
pretty
has
I
to
think kind of a basic choice, but I just think like especially as most of my enjoyment of the game these days is through watching people play.
yeah.
And I think that Iono has made games better because you are not out of a game right away if you get behind. Where I think like before Iono came out, early game tempo was pretty important and it was harder to come back if you someone got ahead, right? Um, and it's not even just like Iono being played in a game, but Iono just existing in the format has, maybe forced a change in deck building slightly in some aspects, I don't know, but, I think
Yeah.
Iono is a good choice.
I guess maybe in the same vein, then I would say, like, Countercatcher. It's, like, same reason, just, like, more
You were hype
tools.
on Countercatcher reprint.
Yeah, that's true, I was. Like, more tools for decks who are slower to, like, have solid lines to make comebacks. It's just, like, a really and we've seen that with Countercatcher, right? In the Guardy deck and the Charizard deck. Other decks play it as well. We see it like in Lost Zone decks as well and stuff like that. And we'll see it be used a lot moving forward for sure. Well, maybe less so because we're getting Prime Catcher. We still gotta wait and see. Do you think we'll get another Ace Spec in the set? They've revealed 3 of them so far in
I
this
don't think
initial set.
so.
Oh no, we might though, because they're gonna get. I think they're getting another set in March. So they will theoretically have more Ace Specs in that, and then we would get those Ace Specs as well. Maybe I'm trolling with that, but
I
I'm
wonder
pretty
if
sure they are.
our March or April set, I guess it would be, will be, like,
End of
just a
March, yeah.
giga massive set.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, they've already revealed so much decent stuff that it feels like what else is
Yeah,
there? But I just have to wait and see. But yeah, I'll go with Counter Catcher. I think yeah, that makes
good
sense. I
choice.
think kind of the same reasons for sure. better gameplay. Just leads to better gameplay overall. Not every deck, not every match has to have it in it, but it allows for more diverse gameplay for sure.
And then our last thing here for 2023 is least favorite deck from the year.
Well, I think mine's pretty easy. It's just Lugia.
Oh, I don't think
Pre-rotation
that's what a
Lugia.
lot of people would have thought you would say.
Oh, what do you think I was gonna say?
Lost Tina.
Well, no, I don't have a problem with Lost Tina. I just don't think it's that
Oh,
good.
okay. I
Yeah,
don't have a
I don't
problem with
like
Lost Tina.
dislike the deck. I just like it's like if someone asks me how if the deck's good, I'm like, nah, the deck's bad. Like I don't think the deck's that good. I don't think the deck is bad either. It's just like there's so many other decks
You
I'd rather
literally just
play. Like well, but when people
you're
say
just
when
like,
I
"I just
pe-
think the deck is bad."
well,
But
yeah,
I
but
don't think the deck is bad.
when I say bad, I just mean like a lower tier meta deck. Like I
Yeah.
think Roaring Moon is bad. Like but I put it on my tier list. Like they're both on my tier list. They're both bad decks on my tier list. But when people say when people hear me say bad, they think, "Oh my gosh, he hates the deck." And so but I don't really hate Lost Tina. It's also just super unenjoyable to play. Like even Roaring Moon's fun to play. Like I enjoy playing Roaring. I just hate playing Lost Tina. It is such a drag to play. Um, but yeah, I would say pre-rotation Lugia. It's just the whole format was super unfun. The meta never evolved. Like there was just nothing.
It was just here for too long. It
Yeah,
would
it
have
was
it would
too
have been not
long.
fun for 3 months. It was even more not fun for 6 months.
It's one of the worst metas of all time, I think. That and, like, Vivid Voltage go up there as some of the worst, and those have been both pretty recent in the last 3 years, right?
Yeah. But though
So
ever since rotation, new set, and stuff like that, I think the game has felt very fun.
that's felt a lot better for sure. Yeah, I think we have a little ways to go still. I think we gotta just rotation or 2 away from hopefully being where, like, the game hopefully, like, their vision of the game is, like, fully evolved
For
out,
the
but it's,
game
like
to
it's
realize its
hard.
potential.
Yeah, yeah, I think we're probably a rotation or 2 away. We'll see what this rotation brings, but I think we might be one more rotation away from it getting to a really, really good place. We'll see though. We'll see what this first rotation brings.
I think for me, I mean, Lugia is a pretty easy choice for sure. I
Yeah.
could definitely go that way. I'm gonna go a little bit of a different route though, and it's not because I dislike the deck, but it's because the deck has disappointed me so greatly because I
Mm.
had high hopes for this deck. It was one of the things I was most excited about from the newest set. I played like 2 games with it right when the set came out and basically have not gone back to it because it just was not that good, and that's Golden Go EX.
Oof. It's kind of on the rise right now. That's
It is
making
a
its
little bit on
come
the rise.
up.
I haven't played yet with the new list, I will say, that's kinda popped up with the Palkia and stuff like that,
I
so
don't
that
think it's
does
that big
give
of a
me a
game
little bit of
changer.
hope.
I don't think it's that big of a game changer. I think the deck is
Ah,
still pretty mid overall. I had higher I you your high hopes, like, I didn't have high hopes for it, but it made me think that there was a chance. There was never a
yeah.
chance. But yeah, it's still like one of those decks where it's like, it's but it is one of those decks where it's like, and I mentioned this a lot last season until we got Scarlet and Violet, I think. No, until we got Paradox Rift, where it's just like the bad decks were so bad. But this set, the bad decks are like not that bad from Paradox Rift. Like the bad decks are fun and they can beat some of the meta decks, not enough to make them worthy to bring to a tournament if you're trying to win the tournament. But like it's fun to play the Golden Goes and stuff like that. And there's been a couple other ones too. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but stuff like the Golden Go, where it's like we were missing that for like 2 or 3 sets in a row. Um,
Yo, I also just noticed in the corner of Golden Go's card, you know how it, like, pictures the Pokemon it can evolve from, right?
yeah.
It's got both forms of Gimmighoul in it.
Oh.
There's, like, 2 forms of this Pokemon, I don't know if you even knew that.
No, but I guess now I realize it because of the 2 different artworks.
There's the chest form and then the roaming form.
Yeah. I wonder if someone would like if it didn't, were they afraid of someone like rule sharking someone and being like, "Oh no, wait, these are both in the chest. We don't have the
These are both
non-chest
in the
form."
chest, yeah. So they just haven't
Um,
given us a card
oh,
of
but
the
there's a new
roaming
one.
form
There's
yet.
a new Gimme Goal coming out, isn't there? I think there is.
Is
There's a new
there?
set. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It might be in Paldean Fates. I'm not sure. It might be in the January set though for Japan. No. It should. I think it's Paldean Fates. I don't think we've seen any like bad cards from Japan's new or late or upcoming set. I don't think we've seen any bad cards from that. We've just seen all like the good stuff they've
It's another
launched.
chest form.
Oh, what the heck? Maybe the non-chest form is gonna be broken. We're gonna get like a Gimme Ghoul
Well,
EX.
the non-chest form, you can't even get it in the video games.
Well, they
The
put it in
non-chest
the
form,
artwork
you can
on
here you
Golden
go, it even
Go.
says it here on the side on Cerebi. You see chest form and then roaming form.
Wait, so is it gonna be a DLC thing eventually in the video
Well,
game?
the roaming form you can get in Pokemon Go.
Oh.
but you can
What's
only get it in Pokemon Go. There's been some weird stuff like that over the years with,
interesting.
like, Pokemon just coming out in Pokemon Go. Like, I think
It's
that's
in
how
the
Meltan
artwork.
initially came out.
It's in the artwork on so we have it in the TCG. It's in the artwork top left corner on the Golden
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
EX.
yeah. It's just hiding in the corner of
The
Golden Go.
Pokemon Go has it, the TCG has it. The video game's not gonna get
No
it though.
shot. No shot.
Yeah, that's weird. That's actually interesting. I didn't really ever like look that hard at it. I thought I noticed that he was out of the chest, but I didn't know it was two different forms. I thought he was just out of the chest, and there was the chest next to him. Um, but now I know there's two different. I wonder if we will get one because he's there. You know, it's there so that people can't get rule shark. People are like, nope, it's not in the chest. You can't evolve from that one. And they're like, actually, if you look in the top left corner of my Golden Go, he's out of the chest in the evolution art.
This is a totally legal play.
Yeah,
Oh gosh. Well, and even like other Pokemon too. So like look at Wormadam.
I
It's
don't want
got
to.
all three Burmies in the corner.
Yeah. That's true.
I
That's
never even
true.
really noticed that. I was just kind of thinking like what are some other Pokemon like Saucebuck?
Or what about what does Sawsbuck evolve for? Or Pavilion? Or
Oh no,
Pavilion
no, dude, you could rule shark someone so hard on the Saucebuck if they evolve from the winter deer
is
and
there
it's like they evolve it into this one and you're like, "Oh wait, nope, that's the spring deer. Can't do
Yep,
that."
there we go. Gotta make sure you match your deers with the Sawsbuck you're playing in your Sawsbuck deck, or you're gonna get
Also
rule sharked.
the autumn one has never had a TCG card, it looks like.
So you just can't evolve into that Sawsbuck. They literally printed a card that you can't evolve into. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Oh no, there
crazy.
we go. There is it. There it is right there.
No, there's no autumn one.
Was it
The
not the
autumn one
pink
is
one?
like, orange, I think.
Oh. Is that what it was in the artwork? Oh, the artwork had the pink one. So they have a
No,
deerling
no.
for every Sawsbuck, right? Or no, am I trolling?
Huh?
They have a deerling for every Sawsbuck currently printed?
Yes, yes, that's correct. Here's the autumn
Oh,
deerling, which is not here.
interesting. Yeah.
Maybe someday. All right. Well, we can move on to our next topic here. Speaking of, our 2023 year in review, this is a poll that just came out right at the end of 2023. Not really a poll, I guess, just a list. This is from a website in Japan.
There was a poll done.
It was a poll done in Japan of people's favorite Pokemon, and over 150,000 people responded to this poll, by the way.
A lot of
So
people.
that's a lot of people. And some kind of surprise choices, I think, here in this one of what the top Pokemon are, and some surprises, I think, as well of like where some normally expected popular Pokemon end up ranking. So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna scroll all the way down, and we're gonna work our way up because I don't think you've seen all of this, right?
No.
So we're gonna start down at the bottom and work our way up and talk about where some of these rank. First off, right off the bat, 98th place or tied for 98th place, Rayquaza. They did my boy dirty, man. How is Rayquaza all the way down at 98? And how is something like Esper up above it? What?
Yeah, it's down there by Quaxley.
Yeah, Rayquaza chilling with Quaxley. How is this fair?
Yeah, I was about to ask if this was like, this literally is just like all the Pokemon. Like, what is everyone's favorite Pokemon?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so, is what
I mean
I
they
gathered
have
from it.
Rayquaza here, so it's like all of them, all of
And I
them.
think this is out of 150,000 people or whatever, this is how many people voted for these respective Pokemon. I'm pretty sure is what this means. I mean, this website is in Japanese, but
Making an estimated guess here. That seems reasonable to me. Yeah. And
and
Mew's
then
also down here a ways too. I feel like Mew's usually pretty popular. But
yeah,
there's
one of
some
the
weird
OG
ones here.
Pokemon. I feel like it's normally pretty high up there.
Isn't that
Chi-Yu
Glamora? And
making the
Glamora?
list. Huh?
Is that one Glamora there on the left?
Yeah, Glamora.
Yeah, how is that on this? How's that in the top 100? Whose favorite Pokemon is that, bro?
443 people, man.
The Glamora stands rolled up. Like,
Look, 443 people out of what is that? Out of 150,000? That's 0.2%, man. 0.3%. Like I think it's reasonable that 0.3% of people their favorite Pokemon
no,
would be any given Pokemon,
that's
honestly.
literally all of the Glamora fans ever. Like that, they all voted on this poll. There's just no way, like in the whole world, there's no way.
Azul's a
There's
Glamora
more.
hater. Oh,
There's
here's a
no way.
question though. Do you think what's that guy that you like from the new generation? Shroodle? You think Shroodle's
Strudel.
gonna be on the list?
I would hope if Glamoro's on the list that Strudel made the list, but we'll have there. That's yeah. That one's wild. The Glamora one is wild. Unless there's like something in the video games. There's something in the video games that makes it
It is the ace Pokemon of the champion in Paldea.
okay. See, I didn't know about that. There is some more lore to Glamora.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's 443. It's just such a weird looking Pokemon.
Let's keep it rolling here. We got Frostlass, Inteleon, Cyndaquil, Latios, Alolan Vulpix, Chinchino, and Snivy, 85 through 91. The Chinchino pick is a little interesting, I feel like. The rest of these kind of I can see being like in this range though.
Yeah. I mean, they all kind of fit for me. Like some of them are cool, like Inteleon, and then the rest of like Latios is kind of a classic, and the other ones. I mean, like Frostlass. I don't know who likes Frostlass, but maybe that's like a go-to.
Have you ever seen this Pokemon?
Yaba Socha. Oh, wait, no,
What
that's the
is this
Japanese
called?
line. That's a Japanese. I
Oh,
haven't
oh,
read
oh,
that.
you were reading
What
what
is
it says
that?
here on the
Yeah,
page.
I was reading
Okay.
that. I was like that because I've never seen it before, so I just thought that name was what it was what its name was. But no, that's what its name is in uh Japanese, I assume.
What's it called? Sinestia, I
Oh,
think,
what we
something like
just
that.
never got this Pokemon in a
It's just not
card.
out yet. It's from the DLC of the video game. It's
Oh,
like a
wait,
newer
does it evolve
Pokemon.
from Sinesti?
No, it's like a regional variant.
Okay.
Oh,
Mad
dang
Party,
it. What is it called?
Return of Mad Party.
Uh, Hang on. I'm gonna find it. Poltergeist and Sinistra. That's what it's called.
Sinistra. What's a
Yeah,
newer Pokemon?
here
So
we
like the
go.
newer Pokemon being up higher up on here kind of makes sense. Like there's Roaring Moon there as well.
Recency bias, right?
Yeah, there's gonna be some recency bias for sure.
I think there is a
A
TCG
matcha
card that got
Pokemon?
revealed of this guy, by the way.
I don't think so. I haven't seen it.
I'm pretty
Would it be
sure.
in Paldean Fates then? It'd be a Fates card. It wouldn't be one of the. It definitely isn't for the other one. Yeah, it's definitely a
Oh,
Fates
yeah, it
card.
looks like it hasn't. I might be
Capping.
misremembering. I guess I am.
Chip with the classic Kizzy
And this
Cap.
has a different pre-evolve, so it's not Sinistea, it's Poltergeist is the
Matcha
pre-evolve.
Pokemon. Bro, I don't know if I like or do not like matcha. You ever had anything with matcha? The matcha
No.
flavor? I have, but like if I'm thinking about it right now, I couldn't tell you if I like it or I dislike it. I've had many things with matcha flavor before. But I guess if it doesn't stand out to me, I can't like it that much. I maybe just don't hate it or don't
I
dislike
feel
it.
like if you don't know, you don't like it, you know? Like, if you like something, you know that you like it.
Well, I don't think I dislike it though. So yeah, it's
Well,
just
that's
neutral.
fine.
Yeah, it's just like neutral then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like if it's there, it's like if I have it
Equally as
again,
well, you know if you don't like something, you know you don't like it, you know?
that's what I'm saying. So it's just neutral. I just don't care. So it's like one of those things where like if it's around, like I'm not gonna go out of way to get matcha. But if someone's like, you want some matcha something, I'll be like, yeah, sure, probably. Why not?
We've got Roaring Moon here, tied at 78th with Litwick, two totally equal on par Pokemon with one another, Roaring
I mean,
Moon and
Litwick.
Litwick.
I like Litwick more than Roaring Moon. For
What,
sure.
dude? Roaring
What
Moon is so
Litwick's
sick.
Litwick's chill.
We've got
Now this
Vaporeon.
makes more sense. Like these
Look
being
at
in
the
the top
translation
100.
for Alolan Ninetales, bro. Why is that its name? Google Translate on this website made it Alolan Cucumber.
Oh, that's good. That's funny. Oh my gosh. What was I saying? Oh yeah, these most of these here kind of make sense to me. They're older gen, the T-Tar, the Ampharos, and then like you have I mean, people like the Alolan Pokemon or the Alolan Ninetales. Psyduck's
Yeah,
there,
yeah. Ninetales and
Snorlax,
Vulpix
Vaporeon.
being here doesn't surprise me really at all.
Yeah.
Psyduck, Snorlax. Snorlax is one of my favorites. Lilligant making its way up here. I mean, I guess we're still pretty low on the list, right? But
Yeah.
there's stuff that there's over 1,000 Pokemon now, so there's definitely stuff that
Is there really?
did
Oh,
not make the
smokes.
cut. Dude, how do you
Yeah.
not know that?
There's a lot of them. I don't know exactly how many.
It was a big deal when Golden Go released because Golden Go was Pokédex Pokemon number 1,000.
Oh, okay. So what are we at? 1,000 and
Like, I think it's in the 1050s, maybe?
Okay. Yeah.
How many Pokemon are there? There are 1,017 Pokemon officially registered on the National Pokedex.
2017.
We've got Blaziken up here. That makes sense. Have you ever seen this Pokemon, by the way?
It's another apple. Isn't there like as many something? There's as many apple forms as something. What is that high form of Pokemon?
It's
What is it?
Hydrapple, I think.
So we haven't got Hydrapple yet though in a card form. But they don't give
No,
us
it's
everything
like
in
very
card form, do
new.
they? Oh, okay. So this is one of the new DLC things.
Yeah, it's from the
Probably.
newest DLC as well. Oh, see, look, it's Pokemon number 1019. So that number
Okay.
I just gave you is out of date.
And they're already coming up with more. What the heck? They're just kind of making them up at this point. It feels like.
Dude, what are you talking about? They're literally all made up. It is it is all a fictitious
Yep.
universe, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what they all say.
It has a pre-evolved form too of what's it called? Oh, it's one of Applin's final forms. So Applin evolves to this dude, the Applin line is so confusing now.
Final forms.
So Applin can evolve
Okay.
into either Flapple or Appleton, and those are final evolution forms.
Okay, but so it's Hydrapple, right?
But now it can evolve also into Diplin. Applin can evolve into Diplin, and then
And Diplin's a stage 1.
Diplin evolves into Hydrapple.
Dude, just this
So
doesn't need to be just invent some new Pokemon. You don't have to make it this complicated. Just come up with a
Applin
different apple
has
Pokemon, apple
2
pie
final
Pokemon.
evolved stage 1s and a final evolution of a stage 2 and a stage 1 that's not a final evolution. That's a little
Dude,
too confusing.
wait, what is the state? The Driplin is not the final evolution?
Diplin is
Well, that's just how
Diplin
you get the
is
Hydraplin.
yes, Diplin is
Yeah.
the stepping stone to
So that could
Hydraplin, is
be
that what you just called it? Hydrapple.
Hydrapple. They could make a pretty sick line in the TCG where like you have all those options. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, the ones we have
No,
right now
no,
are gonna
no.
rotate, but
This one can only evolve from Diplin though.
yeah, of course. But like Applin can evolve to Diplin or the other evolutions. You have like
Okay.
3 different stage 1 lines to work with, and then you could rare candy Applin to Hydrapple. Um,
There could definitely be something cool.
yeah, so there could be like a really sick Apple line in one of the set releases or like over a couple set releases. We're about to rotate out of some of the current apples, right? Or maybe are we keeping these for a little while?
I
Apples we
think
have
we are
now.
gonna lose the good ones.
Yeah, so they have to come out with new ones. But that could be interesting. That'd be like a pretty cool thing that they could make a deck around.
Yeah, these two
Yeah.
have both been okay. I mean, they're both like I shouldn't say okay. These are both cards that have existed that someone could have played theoretically at some point.
Yeah, they were Zorobox cards. And Zorobox is bad, so it's like
Yeah.
if you're a Zorobox card, it depends how good Zorobox is, and it wasn't good.
All right. This one has to just be on here for recency bias, by the way. Fido.
Well, it's like one of the new cute Pokemon, right? Plus
Sure.
recency bias. Yeah, yeah.
Let's
But then you
keep
got
going
some
here to get
yeah.
through some old classics. Arcanine, Jirachi, Golden Go making an appearance. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Screamtail being up here as well doesn't like surprise me too much.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense because it's like a new form of an old Pokemon, right? I
Yeah.
bet Clefairy will be up here higher as well.
Yeah. And
We've
then yeah,
got
a bunch of old ones in this one.
yeah, Lapras, Ditto. Ditto is kind of a cop out answer because Ditto is every Pokemon.
Metamon.
So Ditto, if he's your favorite, everyone's your favorite.
Dude, what is
Mhm.
how did the bird make its way up here? That bird is so ugly.
Quaquaval?
Yeah, Quaquavel.
Quaquavel?
Wineval.
You're not a fan of
No.
Have you ever seen his animation in the video game?
No. It's worth
Oh,
seeing.
dude.
You a big fan of it?
No, but you just need to see it.
All right. Show it to me. Let's do it.
Animation. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna mute this. Here's what it does in the video game.
Maybe you no, I don't think so.
Look. Oh,
Dude.
oh, oh, oh.
Just delete this Pokemon, man.
Bro, what? He's vibing.
Nah.
He's just living his best life, and Azul says delete.
Delete.
Reuniclus is
Get us
kind of
back
high
under
up here.
1,000. We could come up with like 20 Pokemon to delete to get us back under 1,000. We're not ready for 1,000 yet.
Well, I feel like one of the Pokemon we could delete would definitely be
No,
Reuniclus.
I like Reuniclus.
You actually know I need to
Improved.
get used to saying its name correctly, but that is not how you say his name.
Do you say it? Oh, well, you told me this
Reuniculus,
Reuniqueless.
because it
Yeah.
is a unique
Renew.
Pokemon,
Yeah. Okay. Dude,
not
some of the
uh, Nucleus or something like that. That's how I thought it was at first whenever they told me, like, the way we say it is not right, but Reuniqueless. Alright, we've got Superior Chien-Pao being up here, new Pokemon, a cool legendary, all that.
yeah.
Nothing surprising.
These are, yeah, none of these are surprising.
Maybe for it a
I
little
guess
bit.
Pikachu's maybe a little low, to be honest. I guess that'd be the
That
only
is
thing.
true. Pikachu being at 38, the mascot of the franchise. Also, Dragonite, you could say, is a little low at 37.
Yeah, I feel like Dragonite should be higher than Pikachu though, so that kind of makes sense. I mean, I guess I'd be more surprised because Pikachu's like everyone's just tired of Pikachu, bro. He's literally everywhere. He's on everything. Like he just needs to chill out. Why
I
would you have
think
one
it's like,
rat when you could have four with a narwhal rat?
well, one of the measures should be just like what is more popular than it. So, like the fact that
Yeah,
Pawmot is more popular than
he's kind of a
Pikachu,
cooler
like,
Pikachu. He looks like Pikachu's like, um, it's like the angsty teen. It looks like the
no,
teen
dude, this
version of
Pokemon,
Pikachu.
this looks like the Adventure Time version of Pikachu. That's what this Pokemon looks like.
Actually, yeah, it does kind of look like that.
this this is Cartoon Network Pikachu.
Did you see the name translation for Tandem Mouse? Narwhal rat?
Narwhal
Dude,
Rat.
the name translations on these is like is the best part about this,
We
to be
could do a
honest.
full segment on bad Google Translate of Pokemon names. Narwhal
Narwhal rat. Uh,
up here. We've got, ooh,
alright.
Charizard at 23.
That's kinda low.
That's gotta be pretty low. Charizard is my
Under
favorite Pokemon.
Koraidon? Dude, Koraidon is terrible. I hate Koraidon.
You don't like Koraidon?
No, I mean, I don't like Rhydon either,
I
but
mean, I think it makes sense that the cover legendaries of the newest game would be pretty high up on the list, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, that does make sense that they're up here for sure.
Tatsugiri being up here at 26. Luxray's
Luxray?
pretty high, and
Mhm.
Hydreigon, but I think that makes sense.
They're cool names.
Fluttermane being pretty high up here. We've got Dragapult at 21. All right. Do you know what this Pokemon's name is?
I mean, it's the moth Pokemon in a different form, right? I have no idea what his name is.
It's not. It is a paradox version of.
Oh, it's, Fluttermane.
Bro, this is
Oh, that's
Fluttermane, the
Fluttermane. It's,
Misdreavus. This is a
I don't
paradox
remember.
version of Volcarona.
I
It's
don't remember. I know the card what the card does, though, but I
no,
don't
you
remember.
don't.
Yeah, it's when it goes from the bench to the active, it gets fire and off the other Pokemon.
That is. Is
A
that
different
this?
I
This
think
is
it is.
Slitherwing.
Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. That's
You're
Slitherwing?
thinking of.
Oh, what am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Iron Moth.
Oh, yeah.
So Volcarona
Oh.
has two paradox forms.
Oh, well, that's why I think that because it's literally they're both okay, yeah, they look the
They're both
same.
Volcarona.
They're
This
both
is the mature
Volcarona.
one,
Okay.
this is the ancient one.
I've never really looked at the Slytherin card before. Like, yeah, I didn't notice that was a moth. I thought it was like a snake.
That it's literally
Yeah,
Volcarona.
yeah, but if you actually look at the artwork, I've never actually like looked at the artwork.
It is always funny, like, I feel like this happens pretty frequently for TCG players, like, people who only play the TCG, like, when they see what the Pokemon looks like actually animated, like, in a 3D
Yeah,
space, it looks totally different than what they picture it because they look at the card text first and then the picture second,
yeah, yeah.
and sometimes not even at the picture at all.
I literally, I've never like looked at that image before. I always thought it was like some weird snake. But then when you look at it, it literally is just the moth, like literally. But I've never actually like looked at it before.
All right, this one I do have to say is kind of shocking. Alcremie is top 20. Top 20
Yeah,
most popular Pokemon. Alcremie, what?
recency bias.
Recent, it's not even that new. It's like 2019.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not an Al Creamy fan personally, but my whip.
That's what its bad Google Translate name is, Mawip. Then we've got 18 Flygon,
Mhm.
17 Sprigatito, 16 Garchomp, and 15 Glaceon.
Yep.
If
That's
anything, that feels a little high maybe for Glaceon.
yeah, I guess like Sprigatito's like the cute starter Pokemon, so all those
Recency
those get
bias
a
as well.
recency bias. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to number 10 through Or what is this? Oh, 14 through 8. Okay, so we've
Wait, is
got
Palmo the stage 1?
yes.
Okay.
No,
Mm,
it's Palmy. This is Palmy.
oh, what says Palmo on the
Yeah, that's bad Google Translate,
okay.
bro. That's Palmy.
Saw Blaze is kinda cool, though.
Wait,
That's the well,
wait,
whatever it's
maybe
called.
this is I think that's Palmy, yeah. That's definitely Palmy.
I have no clue. I
'Cause
don't
there's
know all the names.
Palmy, Pomo, Palmont,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's Palmy, yeah.
Yeah, Pomo is the middle one. Yeah, here it
I'm
is.
just calling them by their names on the Google Translate. I just called the one what I call it? Sawblade? That's a cool name, though, but I don't know what it's
Saw Blaze.
Blaze. That's a
So
pretty
we've
cool
got
name.
Cerulege here at 13.
There's another one of the mask ones up here. There's 2 of these in the top 100.
So we've got Umbreon at 12. I think usually a lot of people think of this as the most popular evolution.
Yeah, makes sense.
There might be another one on this list though. We'll scroll up and see. We've
Running
got
out.
Ogerpon at 11, another new Pokemon, new legendary. Gardevoir at number 10, definitely a popular choice. Gengar at number 9, makes sense. That's a classic. And then Claudsire at number 8.
I mean,
Claudsire.
people are big fans of, Quagsire.
Yeah,
Recency
but this
bias.
isn't Quagsire. This is
I mean, it's
Claudsire.
recency bias, recency bias. It's the same guy, he's just brown. Like, it's literally the exact same guy. It's just recency bias.
All
If
right.
Quagsire came out in this one, it would just be like, let's get the Claude in there. Alright, top
So this is
8.
going to be the top 7 here. I'm going to scroll up and we're going to see the top 7. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's see what we got up here.
All right. Number 7, Mimikyu. 6, Lucario. Number 5 is Tinkaton.
What? There's
Number
another evolution.
4 is the most popular evolution, and that is Sylveon. Number 3 is this has to just be the most surprising thing on the entire list, I think. Number 3 is Chandelure,
That
the
one
3rd
is
most popular Pokemon.
yeah, that one's kinda weird. I mean, Tinkaton's weird for me as well. I guess evolution being up here is whatever. Lucario, old school, but over some of the other old school ones seems a little off. Mimikyu's also, like, a pretty chill Pokemon that a lot of people like. But then also number 1 even is kind of off-putting.
Yeah, so number 2, we've got, Fuecoco, my boy Fuecoco, definitely the best starter of the new generation, shout
I
outs.
agree.
And then we've got
Wake up.
Meowscarada as the number 1 most popular favorite Pokemon.
That just feels so weird. Who cares about Meowscarada? Like, I guess I didn't play the video game, though. Like, I don't know, like, it like, yeah.
Azul, you
Because
know, bro.
this is favorite this is, like, favorite
Azul,
Pokemon.
you know.
Favorite Pokemon, not like, favorite like, it's not just trading card game player, so I feel like that probably influences a little bit.
And this is also, I would
There are some
imagine,
diehard
basically
TCG Meowscarada
I would
fans,
imagine this is all Japanese, people as well because this is,
I would assume.
I feel like the Japanese Pokemon fan base is less, um, maybe not less tied to, I don't know if that's the right word, but they're like
Or recency bias.
well, I think like American or like Western Pokemon fans are mostly tied to the classics, like the nostalgia, whereas
Yeah.
Japanese Pokemon fans are more like enjoying the new stuff still, right? And that's why we see things like Ogerpon so high and Meowscarada, Fuecoco. Like I think if you took this poll in America, the top choices is just like Charizard, Pikachu, Mewtwo. By the way, Mewtwo not even on this list. Mewtwo not in the top 100.
Yeah. Not big Mewtwo fans. He's pretty sick though. That is, yeah, sick. That's another one. And like there was no like Charmander, like you said, but there's like Fuecoco up there at the top. No Charmander on the list at all in the top 100. I guess. You said there's like 150, or is it every Pokemon ever? But we only see the top 100.
Yeah, we're only seeing
Um,
the top 100 here.
yeah. So in the top 100, no Charmander, but the answer like the Fuecoco. But Fuecoco's pretty sick. So I'm not complaining to be honest, but it is a little bit of a surprise for sure. The last time I saw anything like this, I think I mentioned on an episode like pretty recently. There was like a poll done on Reddit a while ago, and like the number 1 Pokemon was Gengar, number 2 was Charizard, and it's just like, yeah, that
Yeah,
like
exactly what I would expect.
yeah, like that was I don't know, that was a couple years ago now though, but I think it was a pretty big poll that ended up being a pretty big poll. It got like it was on front page of Reddit and all that stuff. So a lot of votes. I don't know how many votes, but yeah, the top 10 when I remember looking at it, I'd be like, yeah, this is just like all the top Pokemon, most people's favorites. Yep,
All the
pretty predictable.
classics.
But that list I read there was some interesting. It'd be cool to like do that like a worldwide, like a Pokemon put out a poll on their website for favorite Pokemon. That'd be pretty cool to see the results of that, to be honest, actually.
Yeah,
See what people's see what is like the
the
favorite
most loved
most
Pokemon.
loved Pokemon. Yeah, I was trying to think of what the heck to say there. I knew what I wanted to say and what the what, but yeah, the most loved Pokemon in the Pokemon of Pokemon for Pokemon.
Well, we can move on to our next segment, but before we do, we of course need to take a second to thank our amazing sponsor, Dragon Shield, for their support here on the Uncommon Energy podcast. Of course, Dragon Shield makes some of the best card gaming and tabletop gaming products and accessories on the market, including sleeves, binders, deck boxes, and so much more. Lots of variety in their sleeves, of course, as well. We do have a new promo code, and the link to that is all in the description. Azul, you ready to rock some Dragon Shields this weekend?
Yep, yep. I already picked out a couple pairs. I know I got a Tangerine in there. I'm not sure what else I'm bringing. Bringing 3 or 4 boxes just in case you need to hit him with a re-sleeve. But yeah, huge shout out to Dragon Shield as always for being a sponsor of the podcast. Like Chip said, check out the link in the description, dragonshield.com. Use our code UEPOD to get 5% off and support us while doing so.
Yeah, use the same sleeves that we choose to use. Because even if we weren't sponsored, these are the sleeves we would both be using. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we do, yeah, these have been my go-tos for years and years, Azul's as well. So definitely pick you up a set or two and use that code UEPOD to get yourself 5% off and show us a little bit of extra support as well. Get yourself some sleeves, show some love over there, dragonshield.com. With that being said, it's time for everyone's favorite segment of the podcast, Guess That Flavor Text, where each week Azul or I picks a card, reads the flavor text, and then the other host has to try to guess which Pokemon is featured on that card based on the flavor text that they were read. And then, of course, you do have a couple of lifelines to work with as well to try to help you out, help you figure out which Pokemon that is. The lifelines are what set the card is from, what stage the card is, and read an attack name. If you get it right without using any lifelines, you get 4 points. And for each lifeline you have to use, you lose a point. I've got a card picked out for Azul, and I've got to admit it, Azul, no holding back this week. I don't think there's
All
any
right.
shot you get this one. I'm trying to keep my lead, bro.
All right. Sounds good, Chip. Well, hit me with it. Let's see if I can maybe get at least 1 point out of this one. Maybe I'll surprise you with my Poke knowledge.
Let's see it. Let's see it. All right. The shock waves from its cries can tip over trucks. It stamps its feet to power up.
Oh boy, the shockwaves from its cries. So like some kind of sonic Pokemon. What does that even mean? Is it like a psychic type then, or I'm trying to think of like I'm trying to like. All right, give it to me one more time. I'm trying to piece some stuff together here.
The shock waves from its cries can tip over trucks. It stamps its feet to power up.
So I'm gonna guess it's like a Pokemon on 4 legs. I'm trying to think of a Pokemon that like I got nothing. I got very little here to work with. So I guess I have to use some lifelines here. It's the only way I'm gonna be able to get to this one. So what set is the card from?
It is from Diamond Pearl Great Encounters.
Diamond Pearl Great Encounters. This is an old one. That helps me a little bit. There's not those sets are not as big. There's just like less Pokemon back in there in back in the day in general. For some reason I'm thinking about Skuntank, but I don't think that's correct. I don't think Skuntank is letting out any kind of sonic cries. Let's go with I really don't have anything on the stage either because I could see this being like a stage 1 or a stage 2. I feel like usually sometimes the flavor text gives away that it's a basic, but I
Mhm.
guess it theoretically could be any of them. So it's hold on. Great encounters. Oh yeah, go ahead. Give me the stage of the card.
It is a stage 1.
Okay. Still not giving me a whole ton to work with. Oh, this one is still tough. I think I'm gonna need an attack name as well.
All right. This attack name might help you a little bit.
All right.
Base control.
Base. Oh, I know what it is. It is uh the stage 1 of Exploud. Actually it might be Exploud. Exploud the I don't know which one it is. Whatever the stage 1 is of the the Pokemon with the ears as speakers. The baby is I don't remember what it looks like. What is it? It's the final stage is Explode, and then it's what is the stage 1? What's it called?
I don't know, bro.
Dude, well, I know what the Pokemon is.
Oh my gosh, this is just the classic Azul
What is
situation.
the Explode?
Thinks he knows what it is. Thinks he knows what a Pokemon is.
Loudred.
Huh?
Loudred?
It is Loudred.
Yes!
I could have
Yeah.
given you Stomp, and I think you'd never get it if I give you
Ooh.
Stomp, but had to throw you a little bone there. I picked a hard one.
Yeah, the base
You were able to narrow it
control.
down. Well done, well done.
I don't even know if that made the difference. I don't know what clicked for me. As I think it maybe just clicked eventually. You show me what the Explode looks like. I forget what the Explode looks like when I said. Yeah, I don't know if the base control actually made a difference. Maybe it did. It definitely seems like it probably could have. But something clicked. Like I don't know if it was just the time. Yeah, I remember this one. I remember what it looks like. I don't know what
Explode
the
is a
difference.
funky looking Pokemon, man.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I thought Explode also had like the ears that had the speakers, but I guess not.
No, that's
Explode
just
loses those.
Loudred.
Oh, okay. So I literally had Loudred in my mind as the stage 2. I
This is
don't
a
remember.
funky looking dude, man.
What's the basic called?
Whismer.
Oh, but of course, Whismer. How could I forget? What a dude. Whismer really has like a glow up situation going on. Definitely like for sure, you know, has a switch up for sure from its early days.
Well, good job, Azul. You earn yourself 1 point. You can start to
Oof.
catch up a
There we
little bit.
go. Only behind by 5 now. We're making moves.
Yeah, well done. And the first time one of us has gotten a point in like
Been a
2
while.
months or something like that.
Yeah,
So it's been a while.
definitely been a while. Good.
Congratulations.
It's definitely good though that we're, I mean, we'll see what you'll be able to do next week. Maybe it'll be still a dry spell for you. No points for you. We'll see though. We'll see what you can do.
All right. And from there, we can move on to our final topic this week. Of course, the Portland Regional Championships coming up this weekend. We have not had that much like competitive Pokemon talk this episode, I feel like. I mean, I guess like the first section you could kind of count as competitive Pokemon talk, but more just reminiscing than anything. But yeah, let's get into it and talk about where the meta is and what we expect to do well this coming weekend. We can start off by looking at the day one meta breakdown from San Antonio and maybe what some of the differences we expect to see are going to be this coming week. So Charizard 18%, Miraidon 17, and then a bunch of 8%ers. We've got the Mew VMAX
Yeah.
at 8.8, Gardevoir 8.5, Lost Zone Box 8.2, and Lost Zone Giratina 8.1 day one meta shares in San Antonio.
Yeah. So I mean, I just think 18 and 17 is kind of insane numbers. I think the biggest thing about that is like Charizard and Miraidon were the two most popular decks for a little while. And after LAIC immediately, it kind of made sense, right? But like Miraidon continuing its play rate when Charizard is the most popular deck alongside it kind of doesn't make any sense to me. Like, how is this deck is Miraidon going to be as popular as it is when it's unfavored against Charizard? Like, it's not even like one of those like slightly unfavored. It's like solidly unfavored against Charizard. Like you
Yeah.
go against Charizard and you're like, damn, I wish I'd hit anything else in the room, right? That kind of doesn't make any sense to me. That Miraidon is so popular, so I feel like Miraidon's got to come down, right? Maybe I Charizard being at 18 is still really high, so I feel like they both have to come down. But I think Miraidon's going to come down to like 12%,
You want to
kind
know
of
what
be
my
in
crazy
line with
prediction is for this weekend?
what that Miraidon's going to be the most popular deck.
No,
Oh.
Charizard 20%.
Dude, that's just. I mean, I
That's
think the
what I
deck is
think.
solid. I don't
Charizard
think the deck is that good
20%.
though. Like, I don't think the deck is that much better than everything else to be like 20% of the meta. That seems kind of unhinged to me. But I mean, it is a good solid deck, and I think it is a little bit more, um, like I guess more casual player friendly than something like a Gardevoir, like a Lostina, like a Lost Box. And then you're not losing to the most popular deck in the room. If like because Miraidon also kind of fits that criteria as well. Um, it fits that criteria as well, but you're not losing to the most popular deck in the room if you play Charizard because it is the most popular deck in the room. 20's a lot though. That would be we haven't seen a 20% deck in a while, right? And since the Lugia
Lugia.
days?
Yeah.
Yeah, since Lugia. I don't know if I oh, what about Worlds? But Worlds is kind of an anomaly, but I think day 2 of Worlds wasn't, like something was 20% in day 2 of Worlds.
I don't think so.
I thought I remember something maybe it was day 1 of Worlds. I thought we had a 20 weirdly in day 1 or day 2 of Worlds. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't have it that far back right here handy.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but something like Lugia and Mew were both very popular one day or the other. I think Lugia was super popular day 1.
I guess we could
Um,
look on Limitless real quick, but
oh, we could at least say see day 2. Or do they have the
yeah.
day 1 breakdown as well on
No, I
Limitless?
think they just have day 2.
Okay, we could take a look at that though, I guess.
Yeah, day 2, Lost Zone box 18%.
That's what it was. I knew there was something up there, but not okay, not quite the 20. Um, and then day 1, I think Lugia was pretty high as well. Lugia might have
Yeah,
been
but
20 day
nothing broke
1.
20. Nothing broke 20.
Okay, okay.
I don't think at least, but I could be wrong. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of my bold prediction for this weekend is that and honestly, maybe it won't be this weekend. Maybe if Charlotte was first. I think part of why this Charizard was so high, maybe this is something to consider as well, is that because the tournament itself was so large, and there's definitely a reasonable percentage of people who are playing in the tournament who like are just picking up whatever like the quote unquote best or easiest or strongest
Yeah.
Pokemon deck is, right? So to play
I think
for
that
their like one Pokemon tournament of the year. So like that probably had some sort of impact for San Antonio, right? So, like, there's a decent percentage of the room that just, like, picked up one of those 2 decks because 'cause they're, like, the 2 decks that people are playing whenever they're picking up the game.
I guess that'd be the question. Does, like, the amount of more casual players scale higher with the tournament's, size? So, like, let's say usually the percentage of players that exist in a tournament at 1,000 players is, let's say, 50%, but when you get to 2,000 players, it goes to, like, 60%. Is that how that works? That maybe that I guess that kinda makes sense.
Yeah.
So then that would cause, like, decks like the Charizard, like the Miraidon to be more popular. So then for Portland, we're coming down by what, like 500 or 700 players roughly, maybe even more than that.
And then Charlotte, we're
Um,
shooting way back up to even bigger than San Antonio.
yeah, so maybe Charlotte would be a good tell if that is, like, kind of true or
Well, no, no,
not.
no. Portland isn't gonna be that much. Portland's, like, still 1,400 or something like that, isn't it?
Let me check.
Because San Antonio was 1,900 Masters.
Okay,
Portland is
so
probably, like,
it'll be like
eight.
500. Well, there's 1,900 players registered for Portland right now, but you have the no-shows, the seniors, the juniors.
Yeah,
You
so
take
it's
away, like,
probably, like, 1,500
250.
Masters.
Okay, yeah, so we'll have, like, yeah,
Yeah,
400 plus
400 less or
players.
something like that,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess wonder where the breaking point is, I guess, as well for those potential numbers. But I guess with Charlotte will be a good tell of that. If it's just like kind of a weird fluke meta because like it's just like Miraidon is probably more hyped up than it should be with how popular, obviously popular Charizard is. Yeah, maybe it's more of a fluke than anything. But Charlotte, I guess, will be a good tell for that.
And then, like, if you look at the rest of the decks here, neither of the Lost Box decks are ones that you would, like, recommend to new people just starting, right? They're not, like, super easy to just pick up and play. Gardevoir is also probably not super easy to just pick up and play, and then Mew has a terrible matchup to the best deck in the room, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So, it makes sense that these are the 2 most popular, I feel like.
yeah, yeah. I guess that kind of makes sense. Yeah, especially like I said, like for the more casual player base to trying to show up with a deck that they can learn and play their best with. Those are like the top two to go with for sure. Um,
So, if people are using your Charizard deck as a reference from San Antonio, and they're planning to play Charizard this weekend or in Charlotte even in a couple of weeks. Um, what are the things from this list that you won with? Because this is, I think, where a lot of people are going to start looking when they're building their decks. What are the cards that you think that someone might have a tendency to want to pull out that you would say, no, this 100% has to stay? And what are the cards that you think are worth considering including for where the meta is right now?
what would people take out? I don't know, maybe going to like no level ball. Definitely don't do that. At least play one level ball. You can do like one level one nest if you really want to. That might even be better, but definitely don't go to zero level ball. That's bad. Don't cut an Iono. Three Iono I think is really,
Yeah.
really
I think
good.
that's one where a lot of people are making cuts, like, they go into the
Yeah.
supporters.
Don't cut a boss, but you could cut a counter catcher. The research I think is kind of flexible, but you probably want to keep it that or a fourth Iono.
Sure.
Probably just want to keep it as a research. Just having the potential to have the aggressive draw supporter is nice sometimes. Um, And then I guess for the tool cards, you definitely wanna play some tech for the Charizard matchup. There was, like, the TM Devo popped up a lot in Japan. All the Charizard lists in Japan had TM Devo, which is a good card in Mirror and probably better than Justified Gloves, so you could cut the Justified Gloves for that. And then the question is, should it be Vitality Band or Defiance Band after that? I'm actually not too sure. I'm kind of under-tested with that. Um, and then,
What about
yeah,
this?
the Tool Jammer is I don't know how if it does solve your Rapid Strike matchup, then it's good, but if it's just kind of like it's okay against Rapid Strike decks that mess up or kind of don't know you have it, but even then they should still probably be able to get around it, then it's probably not great. I'm just I don't know if it does enough because they have Escape Rope, so they can just go TM Devo Escape Rope off Arvin, off Luminion, right? So, like, they can
Yeah,
literally just be like, "Okay, that's cool." Some people played, like, 2 Tool Jammer at San Antonio. I think 2 Tool Jammer is terrible. That's just, like, not worth it.
too much.
I think the Serena is probably better. The Radiant Serena is probably better at that point, to be honest. But I don't know if that's how much if that's better than the one Tool Jammer. If the Radiant Serena is better than the one Tool Jammer, but I definitely wouldn't play the 2 Tool Jammer. That's too much space for one matchup. It's like, and they're like okay against Miraidon as well because it's just on Bravery Charm. But you're already really favored in that matchup, and you still already want to play 2 Lost Vacuum because it's searchable off Arvin for like the Lost Tina matchup for Paths. So I don't think it's like a real good reason to play Tool Jammers. Oh, it's good against Mariah. Shuts off the Bravery Charm. It's like, yeah, but we're still playing 2 Vacuum. Like, if we can't figure it out with 2 Vacuum, that shouldn't be a reason why we include Tool Jammer. So, um, so yeah, it just depends if if the one Tool Jammer is enough, then I would say it's probably a reasonable consideration for sure. But yeah, I think that's all the basically most of them. I can't think of like anything else that's like super stand out. Um, for sure.
And then I think the other thing to talk about with these top decks is with Miraidon. Which way do you think people should go? Should people play the penny list that we saw from Nick Robinson get top 8 in
Any?
San Antonio? What did I say? Penny?
Any? Yeah.
Peony list,
We're
excuse
just
me.
picking up Maridon over and over again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You turn
We're
1,
tandem
double
uniting
tandem
so
unit.
much. The
Dude, people always talk
peony
about
list
people are always
or
like, "Yo,
kind of the
what if."
more traditional list with double flaffy, the I guess more mid-range Miraidon, you know?
Yeah. Honestly, I think the Peony build is probably better because I think you're better against everything except Charizard with the Peony build. Charizard is the only matchup where it's like you wish you kind of had the path, but even then you're still unfavorable. So it's like how far should we go? I think the big question for this build is do you play the Tapu Koko EX? Paralyzed Charizards? Are Charizards going to play switch cards or Miniors or Turos?
Do you think you would
Um,
play one of those things?
I would lean towards the Minior, I guess, more so than anything, because it helps against non-Pidgeot control, and it gets around the Coco. So, if you play well to get around the Coco with it, you have that as well. So, kind of a couple things, I guess. So I'd lean towards the Mini
You
over
know what I
more over
realized
the
about
other
the
2.
Minior?
Mm.
I actually realized this over the Christmas, like, break because I got my brother a build and battle kit for Christmas, and he and I were playing or I got him a build and battle stadium, which has, like, 2 build and battle kits in it, and we were playing it after Christmas, and, I had a Minior in my deck, and I was trying to use it as a pivot to reset my Iron Moths. You were talking about the Iron Moth earlier. They can't attack in subsequent turns.
Yeah.
So I was trying to use the Minior as a pivot, and you know what I realized that I hadn't realized before?
A 2 or 3 cost?
It's got 2
Yeah.
retreat, bro. He's a
You have
thick
to
boy.
accelerate an energy to it ahead of time. But, like, if you go for if you go, like, Evolve Charizard, 1 to Minior, 2 to Charizard, take your first 2 prize cards. If they boss KO Minior, they just lose the game as Miraidon, so they can't afford to do that. So it's just, like, sitting there waiting to be attached to, after they Coco your Charizard. So, what is it like farting that white liquid behind it?
The
Like,
Minior?
oh, is that its, like, star trail?
I think it's flying, like, up a building or something. This is a cityscape, you know, it's coming down from the sky.
It looks like it's like
Azul
okay,
said,
maybe
"Is it farting?" Oh my gosh, dude. Come on,
um,
bro.
but yeah, the Minior is like a good inclusion, especially like depending on which way the control decks are built. Minior is good against non-Pidgeot control, not as good against Pidgeot control. Basically, does nothing. You still just lose. But I don't know which way people are going with that.
And that's another deck to talk about as well, Control. Besides Charizard in San Antonio, Control kinda dominated the tournament, right? Cal
Yeah,
Connor with the crazy run, 3 in the top 10 of the tournament, Liam Halliburton on the bubble there, not making it in. Um, yeah, I guess first off, the question is, if people wanna play Control, should they play Pidgey or not Pidgey? And then also, if you're going to this tournament, are you trying to hard tech for control or
Um,
playing a deck that can beat control?
I mean, the Minior is like kind of a nice inclusion because it's like trying to do multiple things. So the Minior is like a little bit. I don't know. Teching for control doesn't feel great right now because of how popular I think Lostina is going to become. Lostina is like literally everywhere right now. Everyone's playing it. I look on Twitter with like League Cup results. On the ladder, it's been a lot more popular. People are talking about. People like it. So that hurts control. Control doesn't have a great answer to Tina. The non-Pidgeot build I think definitely has a way better Tina matchup because being consistent is kind of key. And being able to just replicate the Snorlax boss strategy. The Pidgeot build feels like it's a little bit more fragile to the Tina matchup. So I don't teching for it feels it doesn't feel necessary for sure. I think it was better to tech for it at San Antonio than it was at Portland. Like if you're
I think
playing
that's
something
fair
like
for sure.
yeah, I don't think I would tech for it. If there's something convenient like a Minior, if you're really trying to beat Coco, then like I'd probably go and play Minior before I play just like a switch card, just because it can also help against control.
Mhm.
For example. But I don't think I'm like including a Minior in like I don't even know, but, like, still, like, playing Spiritomb and stuff and, like, Miraidon, I think still seems decent because you kind of tackle but, like, tackling your Mew matchup right now doesn't seem having a tech for Mew doesn't seem that good either, to be honest, but I guess if you really want like, the Spiritomb so cool because it helps you beat Mew. It also kind of, collaterals control, so those kind of techs I think are reasonable, like, same thing with the Charizard where it kind of is handling multiple situations, but playing something like a Minior and, like, a Gardevoir deck, I wouldn't do something like that, like, yeah. Like, those are the kind of tech that's the kind of tech I don't think I would do because it's, like, super straightforward based in one matchup and just like pretty bad in the deck in general. Whereas like the Minior is like not that bad in Charizard as well as like a one prize attacker into like Gardevoir and stuff, which is kind of cool. You can KO Shiny Arcanas with it. So it's got like more use more use cases than a Minior and a Gardevoir or like a Minior and a Miraidon or something like that.
So if we hop
But yeah.
over to Trainer Hill, we can look at the top meta share decks for the past 7 days, and this is
Yeah.
only accounting for
Online tournaments.
tournaments, online tournaments that had at least 50 people in them. So this is the past 7 days, online tournaments with at least 50 people playing in them. Charizard has still been the most popular. Tina up there, like you mentioned, but then Roaring Moon up there at number 3. Maybe a little bit of new life breathed into the deck after its second place finish in Kyoto. Do you
Yeah,
think that
definitely.
Roaring Moon is something people should consider for Portland? Not should you consider. I know
No,
you're
I
not
don't
going
think
to
I don't think
consider it.
anyone should consider Roaring Moon. And not if their goal is to yeah, no. Not a very good deck.
That's it. Just nope.
Yeah. Like, if you're gonna play Roaring Moon, you should just play Miraidon instead, basically. But even then, I wouldn't play Miraidon either because Charizard's gonna be too popular. So yeah, no, not very good.
We've got Gardevoir here at the 4th spot, and I think Gardevoir is kind of an interesting spot. It's got a solid Charizard matchup, right? 50-50 against Tina. Pretty decent against a lot of the room. But it still has kind of its normal Gardevoir issues, right? The tournament structure isn't favorable for it. You're gonna tie a decent percentage of the time unless you're playing quick or conceding games quick, which is really hard to concede games quick with Gardevoir because you're such a late
Back,
game
yeah.
comeback type deck.
What I always say about Gardevoir is like if you're gonna commit the time and effort to getting efficient with Gardevoir and learning how to play the deck really well, then I think it's like fine to tackle and play. But you really got to make that commitment and really put in the time with it. Otherwise, you're kind of just wasting your time. I feel like. I think it will be quite a bit more popular because it has a good Charizard matchup, and like a lot of people play builds of Zard similar to what I played, where they have like no techs for the Guardy matchup. That's going to be pretty good for the Gardevoir as well. And I can't say I really recommend teching against Guardy as Charizard just because like I still think the matchup is unfavorable even with the tech cards. Like gives the Guardy away a lot to really get to a point where it feels comfortable. Like something similar to what like Robin played at Gdansk, I believe, the triple loss city plus the Avery kind of teching. And it just feels like a lot. Yeah, I'm not like a huge fan of going like that far. Um, it is good. Like the Lost Cities can be good against like the Lost Zone decks, of course. But they're not like ridiculously good. And Avery can be good against other things as well. But yeah, I think the heavy Lost City count is also like specifically good against Chien Pao as well. You can like Lost City both their Excaliburs or both their Chien Paos if they're just running two Chien Pao. But once again, not like a super popular deck. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
was gonna say
yeah.
Chien Pao pretty low in meta share right now.
Yeah, I think he just kind of plays Charizard straightforward, consistent. If you play against a guard, he just swing and pray
I
basically.
wonder if Chien Pao should increase in play, you know?
I mean, it should. The meta got way is getting it. Well, okay, if Miraidon like predict if the Miraidon percentage drops as is predicted, as it seems like it should, with Charizard being the most popular deck, and that not going to change. The meta gets a lot better for Chi and Pao. Guardy's coming back, playing less Avery.
Yeah.
Charizard's the most popular deck. Miraidon's less played. Like everything's kind of lining up pretty good for Chi and Pao for this tournament. I don't know if it's like going to be great for Chi and Pao, but it's definitely getting way better
You do have a
than it
pretty
was.
bad control matchup with Chien Pao.
It's bad, yeah, it's bad. And I don't even know if like the Minior solves that matchup, but I also you probably don't want to tech for that matchup either. Just kind of take the L is probably the better way to go. But um, yeah, I would say looking pretty good for looking better for Chien Pao. Is it good enough? I don't know if it's quite good enough though.
What
Could
do
be
you think
better
the
though.
best Lost Box variant is this weekend? Not talking about Tina, but just Lost Box.
Kyogre, I think something similar to like what won Kyoto for sure. Something like that. Definitely with Kyogre, some kind of Kyogre pile. That would be my if I was gonna play Lost Box, it would be something like that for sure. I think Kyogre is just like too important for the even kind of the Mew matchup as well, but namely the Miraidon matchup. And Kyogre, you never know when Kyogre is going to win you a game, even against like stuff like Charizard or Gardevoir. It's not great in those matchups, but it is such a high level threat. Literally the best attack, most powerful attack, I should say, not the best. Probably not the best attack because it's so hard to pull off, but it is the most powerful attack in the game
Yeah.
still, I think. So yes, never bad to have that on your side as a tool, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else in the game right now that can put 500 damage in play in one turn
Yeah, on 2 different Pokemon,
on
right?
2 different Pokemon, yeah.
Like, you can over nuke something with Gardevoir, but, like, I don't know, I KO'd a Charizard earlier on stream today for 330 damage, but that's because I shouldn't have attached a reversal energy. But, yeah, like, being able to split up that so, like, being able to split the damage is, like, almost better. Because like, yeah, a lot of Pokemon don't have that much HP, but KOing multiple things is pretty good.
This one being up at the 6th most played, maybe a little bit surprising, and do you think this would ever translate to it being played IRL? And that's Golden Go.
Yeah, I think for sure. It's not gonna make the graphic on day one. Like theoretically, if you just took these percentages, it's on the graphic. Golden goes there. It's the sixth most played deck. But yeah, it's not gonna make the graphic. But I think it will. In play will increase a lot. I think a lot of people played that deck, and kind of evolved it as well. Seen lists with more Palkias, like different. Like basically, people are keeping the same ideas. The melodic, um, and the Palkia with the water energy. People are keeping like that idea, but kind of working on the list further and evolving it. So yeah, I think it will definitely see an increase in Golden Go play. Will it result in Golden Go results? I don't know. I don't think so. Probably not great.
I
Like
would love for it
showing, but
to happen, man.
that'd
I
be
would
sick
love
though.
to
Yeah,
see
me
some
too.
Golden Go.
Golden Go in top 8. I would love it, but I don't know if I think it's gonna happen.
The number 7 deck here is Urshifu Inteleon. I think kind of the one deck of these like top meta decks, I guess besides Gardevoir, that everyone is just kind of universally like, yep, that's the deck that has a good Charizard matchup, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Um, and there are like some potential techs out there like for the Charizard deck, but also it has like a good Gardevoir matchup. The Lost Tina matchup is close.
And your Lost
Um,
Box matchup is pretty good.
yeah, the real struggle for the Urshifu deck now has become the Miraidon matchup against the Peony build. It's like no longer your Miraidon matchup is no longer favorable like it used to be because the Peony
Yeah.
build is just so fast. It's got the Mew EXs, got the DTE. Like it's that one's gotten tough to be honest. So it's I think it's 50-50 still for Rapid Strike, but I could see it being unfavorable because the Peony deck just chooses second is so fast and it's just like takes over. So it's gotten that's like the big hit for Rapid Strike, but Miraidon should be less popular moving forward, so it's not like a terrible play or anything. It's just like that's kind of unfortunate for Rapid Strike.
Yeah, we do see the Miraidon is down here a little bit. There's 2 different Miraidon, and I don't think it'll be split on the graphic this weekend, but yeah, we've got
Yeah,
the Miraidon Peony build, we got the Miraidon Flaffies. You've already said that you think the Peony build is kind of the way to go. I know you played a list this week that was kind of unique that had, like, a lot of EXP share in it. Do you think there's any merit to
yeah,
something like that to try to keep your energy cards in play to beat Charizard? I imagine that's kind of what the thought process was there to have the EXP shares, right?
yeah. The EX features were okay. They were just hard to find before the game was over and get enough value out of them. But the energy, honestly, the energy stickers were pretty good. I had energy stickers in there where as well at the end of it, and even the Pokemon catchers. I had Pokemon catchers as well. 'Cause, like, being able to use Peony for a gust effect is pretty sick, and cross switchers kinda take up too much space and are a little bit too awkward, I think, around Peony. Um, but yeah, I think that actually could be, I think maybe the stickers stay, maybe, like, 1 or 2 EXP share stays, but probably go back to a 1/1 Flaffy. But after experimenting with some of those cards, like, those all felt pretty good. So, yeah, I think Peony build is the way to go right now. It's just kinda like, how aggressive can we make it? How consistently aggressive can we make it?
Dude, energy sticker Dawn goes so hard.
You remember where people were, like, freaking out about Turbo Patch, and then we just got Energy Sticker and no one said a thing?
The cycle of Pokemon TCG overreactions never gets old, huh?
Yeah, people were like, "It's gonna ruin the game, having everyone's gonna play 4 of this card, and it's gonna be an
It never
RNG
was played. It was
fest."
basically never played. It
It
was,
was
like,
played
very
in Turbo
slightly played.
Vikavolt, pre-rotation Turbo Vikavolt, that was it, and even that deck was like it was, like, okay, and it was like, "Oh, they got the Turbo and Vikavolt, but that's predictable, they play 4 Turbo Patch," and then the deck was, like, an okay deck, but yeah, way over exaggerated how good, Turbo Patch was gonna be, and then, yeah, we get Energy Sticker, and it's just like, no one says a thing. No one says a thing.
A better card as well
A better
because
card, yeah.
well, I don't know. I don't know if it's fair to say they're better
It's like
because
the same thing,
well, yeah,
right?
Turbo Patch could go to the active,
Oh, so Turbo Patch was better.
but
It couldn't put
energy
on
sticker
GX.
can go to anything. Turbo Patch could only go to basics.
Okay, I would
So
still probably like to be
they're
able
just
to
kinda
attach to my
different,
active.
right?
Yeah, I guess. I like to be able to attach to my active, that's pretty big. You don't need, like, a pivot or a switch card to work with on the turn.
And, like, the most often you're gonna use cards like this, it's not gonna be in a slower evolving deck, it's gonna be in a turbo basic deck anyway, so the fact that
Yeah.
Turbo Patch could only go to basics doesn't really hurt it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely.
But then looking at the rest of these decks, is there anything else we really need to spend time on or talk about? There's Arceus stuff, we talked about Snorlax already, Chien-Pao we talked about. I guess Mew, where does Mew kinda sit? You know, I think Mew does solid against, like, a lot of this stuff. Does good against it does fine against Tina, um, does really good against Urshifu. It's gotta be well, I don't know, Golden Go's got a lot of HP.
A lot of HP, yeah.
Golden Go actually might be kinda tough for the Mew, I guess,
Only
but it's
so
good
many
against
tablets.
Miraidon. It just gets destroyed by Charizard.
Yeah, I mean, the Charizard magic like, if you play the double turbo Mew with if you play double turbo Mew with, like, the hand lock stuff, I think the Charizard
The
match was like 50
grabbers.
yeah, it's like 50-50 with Luxray and Grab. I think it's like 50-50.
That's just not what people have been
Um,
playing.
well, that's what I'm saying. But but if you wanna play double turbo Mew, I think people are getting sick of getting caught with their pants down against Mew and not playing Drapion or Spiritomb. I think people are kinda done with that. Like, we don't wanna we don't wanna look like Europe over here. We can't let them actually win.
Dude, how can we
So
can't get through an episode without
like, I think that Tina players
some
will, like, have like,
Europe Mew slander.
I think Tina will have Drapion or the Spiritomb. Like, I think people are kinda, like, annoyed. Like, I would be annoyed, like, if I kept rolling up to tournaments and, like, Mew was still coming up at, like, 8%, and it's like, "Well, I have a bad Mew matchup. I didn't play my Spiritomb." Like, also Spiritomb's good against control. So that's why I think Double Turbo Mew's in a pretty bad spot because I think the Spiritombs are gonna be there. So it's like, okay, now you have to play Fusion Mew, but Fusion Mew's Charizard matchup is so much worse than Double Turbo Mew's matchup.
Yeah,
It's like, can you afford to play Fusion Mew? It's like, probably not really. So I guess the question just becomes, do you play double turbo Mew and hope that everyone has this exact same thought process? Like, well, if they can't play double turbo Mew and they can't play fusion Mew, they can't play Mew, so I'm gonna take my Spiritomb out, and then you play double turbo Mew. I feel like that's a little bit too next level for how recent this
yeah,
tournament is, and I think people are just gonna be like, dude, I'm not getting caught with my pants down against Mew. I'm putting my tech in, no matter what prediction I can kind of come to in my own head. I'm just keeping my Spiritomb. I'm keeping my Drapion. Because yeah, Mew had like a pretty good showing overall at San Antonio. Even with Charizard being 18% of the meta, decent amount of Spiritombs in stuff. Like all the control decks played Spiritomb because you kind of need it for the Mew matchup. Otherwise, Mew just runs over you really fast. So yeah, I think the Spiritombs are gonna show up. I think Mew still will show up. I think Mew's gonna probably be like 7-8%. I think it's gonna have a bad time.
yeah. And honestly, it didn't have the best time in San Antonio. Like it was
So like 3 in top 16, I think. There was no top 8, but they were like right there, right? I'm not trolling.
no,
Yeah, there's
you're
3 in
right.
top
Yeah, yeah,
16. Yeah,
yeah.
2 fusions and then Hedrick with the DT, and there's another DTE right there. Labella lost the
Okay,
win
okay.
into Grant. Like, yeah, they weren't far
Solid
off.
showing. That's fair.
Yeah, so like, they did okay. Yeah, there's Xander with Xander with the Mew, of course. So
Let's look at Xander's
I
limitless
think
page. You ready?
no.
Oh, he played a Chien-Pao. Okay, okay.
Dialga's there as well.
Dialgas. Oh my
Um,
gosh.
Yeah, I think, like, Mew had an unreasonable showing for how much Charizard there was. Like, I think that's, like so that means the other decks were slacking, right? Because like, Charizard can only be Dark type so much. Like, once you're Dark type, that's it. You can't do anything else. So, like, yeah, I think Mew had, like, kind of an unreasonable showing for how popular Charizard was. So, I think people are gonna put their Spiritiums in and stuff like that and be tech for it. But I don't think it's gonna drop the Mew percentage. I think the Mew players are gonna Mew. I think they should have a worse showing at this tournament overall, though. It feels like the Mew player is just Mew. Like, maybe my prediction's a little bit off with that, but, there was, like a lot of people had a lot of cool techs, though, in San Antonio for I played against a Fusion Mew with an Excelgor line. I played against, Colin Merrill Matthews, big time Mew stan, had a TM Devo in his build. So, like, they were coming up with some interesting stuff to try and tackle the Zard, but at the end of the day, it's still tough, for Mew.
All right. Well, let's get on to some predictions here. What we think is the predictions we'll make and like look back on next week. I guess this first one, should we set an over under or should we just guess a number
For
or how many Charizard will be in top eight? We should probably set an over under, right? That's what we normally do.
Oh, yeah, I guess we could try and guess the exact number.
We
We
should
do it
just do
over
an
under
over under at
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah. Or should we do it 1.5?
I mean, it's the most played deck. I feel like
Okay, that's fair.
2.5 for an
That's
over
saying
under.
3, there's gonna be 3 in top 8. That's, like, a lot. Like, even if it is the most popular deck, 3 of top 8 is still a lot, I feel like, even for the most popular deck. And
Okay,
it's, like, it's a known quantity, right?
sure. All right, 1.5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say over.
I'm gonna go under.
I think 1.5 is an easy over.
You think there's gonna be 2 in top 8?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna go under on this one. It is the
All
most
right.
popular deck, very good deck. There's nothing really making it a terrible play for the tournament either. Like, it's a good play. But yeah, I'm gonna go under. Like, I feel like everyone's gonna have the little things for the Charizard. Team Devo's gonna be everywhere. Careful with your fourth rare candy. Don't play
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Keep those rare candies hanging around
Keep
for
that. You
sure.
never know who's gonna TM Devo. Keep the fourth rare candy around. Evolve to the Charmeleon. Slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
That's actually we were talking about the Charizard list. Second Charmeleon, I don't think is unreasonable for this weekend as
I
well.
think you
Or
definitely want to keep those justified gloves in your deck as well, though, because there's going to be a lot of mirror hanging around, and if they have it and you don't, you're going to be at a disadvantage right away.
or the other thing, Silene, fifth rare candy. Just saying, like, think about it. No, second Charmeleon is definitely better, but
Yo, could you do some Silene stuff to beat Control? Is you Silene plus something else to beat Control?
play the Minior at that point. Why are we playing 2 cards when we have 1?
Silene,
Like, oh, just
Palpad, Details
the Pidgeot.
Cheer, Switch.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we just, like we have, like, create a control package that makes our deck go infinite, and then we don't
Yeah, yeah,
lose.
yeah.
Well, if none of them are playing crab, can they even beat a Pidgeot V? They can fill your bench eventually with, like,
Yeah,
Erica's and
Erica's.
Echoing Horn. Yeah, they can eventually Erica's and Echoing Horn fill your bench and stop
Yeah.
you, I guess. But maybe they don't have enough time. Maybe
Yeah,
the
maybe you
tie.
OO them.
Yeah, Pidgeot V for the tie. I mean, I don't know if it's worth cutting Rotom for that. The Rotom's pretty
Rotom's pretty
good.
good.
Yeah, Rotom's kinda sick. I don't know if I do that.
All right, second most popular deck on the meta breakdown graphic. So the graphic that they show on stream that we always show on the podcast the week after. What do you think the second most popular deck is? I think it's pretty well agreed that Charizard's going to be first.
It'd be kind of a surprise if it's not Charizard first, to be
Yeah,
honest.
and then the second choice, I mean, for a lot of people, I mean, I don't know that it's a slam dunk Miraidon second, you know?
Anymore, maybe. Oh, well, that's what we, like, would hope. That's what I would hope. Like, um, so I'm not gonna pick Miraidon for this one, and I'm gonna go with Lost Tina.
I think that would make sense.
Yeah, a
I'm gonna
lot
go
of
with
steam
Miraidon
recently.
still, though. They
That
never
seems
learn,
reasonable.
Azul. They never
I
learn.
think it'll be close. I think Guardy, Tina, and Miraidon will be
I think
close.
Guardy is the other one to consider there at the second
Yeah.
most popular, but I don't think Gardevoir's in a spot right now where it's gonna be that popular.
I don't know. Charizard's up there. I think you're favorable against Tina as well as Guardy. You gotta play well. That's, like, a tough one. You gotta play well, but I think you're favored against both those. The Miraidon matchup is bad. Like, they hit you with the hands. Maybe you're going the Jake Gearhart route. You got that Deoxys V-Star in there, though. Maybe that's all you need. Guardy with Deoxys V-Star. Well equipped for this one.
So there were 0 Golden Go in day 2 of San Antonio. Now, I
I
think
haven't
we'll
had it
probably
come up
see
recently,
some
though.
Golden Go make day 2 here in Portland, most likely.
I would hope. We gotta at least see one in there.
Especially with, like, this new list popping up that's decent, people have the melodic. I think we'll see some Golden Go pop into day 2. What do you think, Azul, the highest placing Golden Go is gonna be?
Um,
I will say, Golden Go, like I said, I haven't played with this deck yet. I feel like it's gotta have a pretty solid Charizard matchup.
yeah, the HP, the 260 is annoying for sure. It's just like a lot of HP for sure. Yeah, the 260 is annoying. Yeah, the Charizard matchup is pretty good because you can pretty much always get the first 2 prize cards, and then you're just winning the prize trade at that point.
Yeah.
The Radiant Charizard is the fix for that matchup, basically, because
Yeah,
you're
if
like, I
you
have
as
no Radiant
Charizard are
Charizard.
worried about Golden Go.
Yeah, if you're really trying to beat him, there might be some other fire attacker you could play instead. I don't think
There's
I'd
no
play the
Charmeleon that
Entei.
can do enough, is
You need
there?
like a with Defiance Band there is. If you play the Defiance Band, you can make the comeback with the Charmeleon, the 3 energy one.
Yeah, for 90.
I'm not sure if it's worth playing, but you could do that. Um, what were you saying? Golden Go highest placement. I'm gonna give him a top. Do I want to give him the 64? Yeah, someone's top 64 for the Golden Go. I think someone will get in there for sure.
Oh, Azul, ye of little faith, not a man of the people. Come on, give it to me. I said last time that Cloth Electrode would make top 8. I maybe got a little out of line there, so I'm gonna be a bit more reserved. We'll give it the top 16. Top 16 Golden Go.
I mean, I'd
Come
love to see it
on.
for sure. I definitely love to see it. Would be sick.
That would be the sick poll for sure. Well, Azul, before we get into our bonus episode over on Patreon, you got anything else you want to add? Any last second tip for anyone playing in Portland this weekend?
No, not really. Best of luck to everyone. Just make sure you put in that extra preparation with the deck. That makes the biggest difference. It's just like you should have already locked in your deck choice at this point. Basically, just grind out some games, refine your matchup knowledge, refine your list overall. Try
Fix
to
a
figure out those
tech or
last,
something.
yeah, the last couple tech cards that you want to include. We don't have to lock in like a perfect 60 right now, but the night before the tournament, make those final adjustments based on what you think is gonna be the most popular, or you think will have the most impact on your tournament run. Yeah, putting that extra time makes the difference. That's the biggest thing. People don't no one plays enough Pokemon. The best players in the game don't play enough Pokemon. The worst players in the game don't play enough Pokemon. The average players in the game don't make it play enough Pokemon. No one plays enough Pokemon for the results that they expect or want to have. So you can always play more.
There you go. You can always play more coming from the guy who probably plays more Pokemon than anyone else. All right. Well, thanks so much to everyone for listening and for your support as always. And if you want to show that little bit of extra support, the easiest way to do it is to leave us a rating, leave us a review, drop a comment on the YouTube video. Totally free to do those things and takes just a second. Helps a bunch more people discover the podcast. And yeah, helps us to know that you enjoy what we're doing over here with the Uncommon Energy podcast. And of course, if you want to show us that little bit of extra support monetarily, the place to do that is over on Patreon, where we're going to be hopping over to our bonus episode here in just a moment. If you want to stay up to date with us, the best place to do it is on Twitter. You can follow myself at Chip Ritchie. Azul is at Azul_GG. And then you can follow the podcast at Uncommon_Energy.
Oh yeah. Thanks for
Come on, bro. Where are we at?
thanks for the support as always. Good luck to everyone going to Portland this weekend. We'll catch y'all next Friday.
Next
Just a
Friday.
one-off, and then we'll be back to the normal Wednesday at 7 a.m. Eastern. Yeah. See you.